Hello and welcome to Infamous, the audio podcast. This is Brandon, or Mutilus on Discord.
This is Parker, go by One Who Parks on Discord.
This is Jeremy, go by just Jeremy on the Discord.
And this is Aaron, I go by Treffenwood on Discord.
Welcome back to another fun episode of Infamous. Quick announcements, just as always, links in the show notes. Parker, do we have any other announcements?
We got some news.
Hey,
Let's go! Yes.
News. So we got a little bit of spoilers of this way back in Extravaganza, but we finally have a panel to play. So we got some tactics cards and some front and backs for Weapon X and my boy Christoph Nord, Maverick. We're not going to read. What's up? Go ahead.
Is Maverick Agent Zero?
Agent Zero?
Yeah, because his spender is called Agent Zero.
Okay, so
because
go ahead.
Wolverine Origins had Agent Zero in it. Is that supposed to be him?
So,
because that's who?
Yeah, Agent Zero is just is an alias of his. It's just one of the things he's used in. I don't know if the which one's Wolverine Origins had Agent Zero, right?
It's the Asian guy that shoots the cigar out of his mouth.
Right. So that is, I don't know. I mean, if they list him as, David Nord.
He's part of the Weapon X program, and he goes by Agent Zero.
Right, so
I don't know what else he would be.
I do not think he's of Asian descent. I think he's Canadian descent. And
he even shoots pistols.
I think he's French descent. But the character supposed to be a version of Maverick, I think.
Right.
So,
it's
yes.
like, I mean, Deadpool was, Baraka from fucking Mortal Kombat.
Right.
So, what are we talking about?
But yes, Agent Zero was one of his aliases. He's a mercenary. Okay. He's gone by different names, but Maverick is the one most commonly.
Gotcha. All right, let's talk about the Maverick.
So Maverick, first of all, he has my favorite rule, which is rapid fire. I don't really need anything else. What do you guys like about him?
He is energy rapid fire. Now we have all three.
Yeah, we got the rapid fire. We have Mystic rapid fire. Ooh.
I don't think there was energy rapid fire. There was a better than rapid fire on the senior, Nick Fury Senior. He seems pretty cool. I think this seems odd that we've gotten back-to-back releases now that are like, look, DR is really strong. Here's a guy that ignores DR. Like, healing factor is really strong. Here's a guy that ignores healing factor. Like, okay.
It's not just healing factor. It's any removal of health effect.
Yeah. It literally says anti-healing factor.
Yeah, it does say that. But I think it is really interesting. They just said your patch up just doesn't work. Your heal from Hood just doesn't work. None of those things are super meta, except maybe patch up is. You see that more now with the new tactics card change.
Definitely more. There's a lot of healing factor models in the meta right now.
That's true.
I mean, Hellfire Club. Mm-hmm. There's definitely some. God, fucking Immortal Hulk, right?
Right.
No, it doesn't work with Immortal Hulk.
It doesn't work with Immortal Hulk.
It doesn't?
Because
it works on his backside. It doesn't work during the cleanup phase.
Mm-hmm. Because he can't spend power during the cleanup phase.
He can spend power.
Oh, he could?
Yeah. What's the interaction that stops it?
Immortal Hulk is dazed. You can't affect him. May not be targeted by superpowers.
Because he doesn't remove the daze token until
after he heals. Yep.
Yeah. Hooray! More great game interaction. Okay.
It's really, I think he's anti-APOC model.
I mean, you have to spend 2 power every time he heals 1?
Maybe.
I don't know about that.
It isn't coincidental.
Yeah.
I think I don't know if he's anti anything in particular. He just has that cool, he's just a cool back pocket kind of thing to use.
I think it's not intended to be like a balanced apocalypse or anything, but it is a convenient timing. You're right. I don't know that you'd get that close to him without dying, or that he would have enough power to be relevant at it.
It also works pretty cool on things like Venomize. Like if you are going hard in for cards like that, it would stop somebody from healing themselves through Venomize or just Venom's attack.
I think this is a good ability. My problem with it is I think it's going to just be a hugely negative play experience because no one's going to remember he has it until it's really bad it's too late to do anything about it.
He's not a chassis; it just fucking dies. So
sure, no. So A's a blast cannon. So anybody who knows what he does is going to kill him. Well, not glass cannon. He is fragile.
Okay, there you go.
So he's easy to kill. He's easy to displace. And the only time it's going to burn you is when you simply forget he has it. And it's going to be, oh my god, I just spent 5 power for patch up. And because of the timing order, we can't take it back. And so it's going to suck.
You can, but okay.
Well, I mean, no, by game mechanics you can't. You guys can agree to not follow the rules of the game. That's not how the game works, but...
Sure, we'll talk about that later. Go ahead. Yeah.
Agree. Like, right, nobody at the local game store should be holding you to that. They should go, hey, I've got, Maverick here. Oh, yeah, I'll play patch up after. You're like, yeah, cool. But, like, when you're in a big tournament, you're like, I do X, and you're like, mission objective? And they go, shit. Like, that's the interaction.
I'm on a mission to make MCP more friendly.
Yeah, good luck with that.
It's probably an uphill travel.
Yeah. I feel like you're trying to stop the boulder as opposed to push it.
See, I don't know if that's... I don't know if it's a negative play experience. Forgetting there's stuff on the board is not that weird, right? Like, if I spend
it's just never going to come up, I think.
Well, I guess what I mean is, like, if I throw Kingpin when he has 1 health left on him, and I forgot that he can't take damage... That's not is that like my opponent's job to like remind me of the stuff?
No, but like my point is not that this ability is hard to understand or interact with. It's that it's going to happen so rarely, and it's on a odd model in the game. It's not a prevalent model. At least we haven't seen it to be yet. And so you're just going to forget it's a thing in like 6 months, right?
Right.
It's like, who's going to remember how Hood's Electroleap thing works? Like, well, he hasn't been in the meta for a year. So it's just like, oh, yeah, all my guys are at 2 hit points. I totally forgot this worked that way. Like, oh, shit. Or like Storm. Yeah. Like, if Storm wasn't played a lot, and you go, I marked for that Storm in shooters, like, oh, she doesn't have stealth. She has another rule that is stealth. And you go, fucking great. Like, it's shit like that. But because Storm's in the meta, we know. But if you had a weird model like that, it would be hard to remember.
There was an interesting action at NashCon we'll get to later, I'm sure. And I'm interested in your take, Parker.
Okay.
On how I chose to play it.
Jeremy, what are you at all excited about Maverick? He's from your era of comics you like. He's from that Wolverine era. Do you have any comics with Maverick in it?
No. And no. This model is
Agent Zero Comics.
It's a character mashed up of a couple other 3s that will die very easy.
Yeah, Star-Lord and Wolverine.
And unless he comes with a card, I can't imagine even buying it, to be honest.
Okay.
Oh, you're probably gonna have to buy this guy.
Well, speaking of cards, let's just talk about his card then right now, because you said you want to talk about his card. Maverick has a card that works with it as long as he's a Weapon X, Weapons Stash. Jeremy, have you read this card?
Nope.
Oh man, it's so good. Would you like to know what it does?
No.
Okay.
Can I tell him?
Yeah, you can tell him.
It does nothing. No, I'm just kidding.
Nice.
When an allied character suffers damage from an enemy effect.
No, other one.
No, this is weapons.
Oh.
We're doing Maverick's card.
Oh, sorry. I did click the wrong button. Here we go. I started reading it. I was like, this doesn't seem right. Maverick can spend 3. Choose a secure objective token within 3 of Maverick. Place a stash token within 1 of that token. While within 1 of the stash token, allied characters gain cover. Additionally, allied characters gain the following ability: Interact, add 2 dice to your next attack this activation, remove the token.
Basically, you put, for once per game, Maverick spends 3 power, puts a token on the ground, which is cover the whole game that can't be removed. And then if you want to, a character can interact with it to permanently destroy it and gain 2 dice for 1 attack.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's cover all game if you have half a brain.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Cover all game is pretty cool. Problem is you have to do it in Weapon X, which is not very cool.
It's also range 1 of a token.
Yeah.
That's within range 1 of an objective.
Yeah.
So I think Weapon X is sneaky okay.
No, I think they've been pretty playable for a while. But it's just, obviously they took a hit with exceptional healing, but it's not that big of a hit because they already had so many healing factor models, which kind of negated the necessity for it, but it was still really good.
Bigger character that loves cover and sit them next to it, like your turret, it works.
The problem I think with Weapon X is, why wouldn't you just play another faction? I think they'll never be A tier. They'll always be like middle of the pack.
Yeah.
because you could just play like Red Skull 3 or Hellfire or some other combination like X-Force.
Yeah, I was going to say,
someone
if you want to play
just
their models, yeah.
Right. And so they just have more tools, as where pretty much all the Weapon X people, with the exception of Maverick, is kind of just beat them up.
Mhm.
And so...
So you can play super wide in Weapon X that you can't in a different affiliation.
Because you can do just threes. And
Yep,
like,
you can play just a
and-
shit ton of threes.
yeah.
And a 2. And you can play, what's that, 6 wide at 17 if you wanted to, with nothing but murder bots.
Mhm.
Glass cannon murder bots, but I faced it at Squad Goals. It was fucking scary. He was like, objectives, don't give a shit.
Yeah. You
Running
can do
my
the exact
entire-
same thing in Guardians.
Sure. And which can also be scary. And I'm not saying they're going to be top of the meta, but I would not... If I was to face a wide murder squad of fucking Weapon X, I'm just like, well, we're going to find out how dice roll this game, like both mine and yours, because there's one way someone's winning, and it's through attrition or surviving.
Yeah.
So what about that, Jeremy? Does that sell you? Is weapon stash now the reason to get your Maverick?
No. But continue.
He was almost there.
Do you think this is going to get played a lot?
Weapon stash?
Weapon stash?
Yeah. I kind of dismissed it immediately.
No,
I
think it's...
I think it's a cool effect, but I
Yeah.
just don't see it getting played.
I think it comes to your 10 auto. I think it's an auto include your 10.
Yeah, and weapon...
But does it see play, though? Is
in
it going to
Weapon
make
X.
it 5? Considering they already have a Tactics card leadership. Like, you basically have 3 cards gone, maybe 4 gone, before you even look at this card.
Are you playing Gamma?
Yeah, like, it would...
Maybe even middle. If there's a point you know you're going to fight over, Researcher's probably really bad. But
Yeah, because it moves.
yeah, unless you know you're going to win Researcher first turn, you can keep it nearby. Scoundrels is another possibility. I see lots of plays where, in the right circumstance, you're absolutely going to want to play this card.
So between Gamma and Demons, I could see it getting some value, but every other scenario, it's like they'll just go somewhere else. It's like, why would I stand here and fight you on cover when I can just leave?
Right, but they don't have to fight you, though. So play a ranged model on Infinity Formula, and you play this on your back Infinity. Like permanent cover for your people who are on there. Is that worth the Tactics card? I think in like Gamma, it's an auto, you bring it. And I think that's why you bring the card in your 10. And I think there are other instances where you might want to consider it.
Okay.
Also,
Does
it's
Webbs
an
play this?
affiliation.
It's Weapon X.
It's Weapon X only.
It's only a Weapon X card?
It's Weapon X
Yeah.
card. That's why I said I don't see it getting play.
Well, I
It's
think...
like, I just don't see the list that it's really good in, unless you're playing, like he said, one of those 2 scenarios.
You have... One of the things about Weapon X and all healing factor models is you want to die slowly so that your healing factor makes you just really double down on the.
No,
fact
I
that
agree.
you're
It's
back.
a good effect.
So the cover for that is really exactly what the kind of thing you want, right? You're really excited to see that.
I'm telling you, with the Tactics card Cole, I have found putting Tactics cards in lists to be fucking hard, depending on the affiliation. I haven't built every affiliation, but you just don't have a lot of fluff filler cards.
I think Weapon X specifically has a lot of character cards, because there's a lot of Wolverine cards, there's a lot of Sabretooth cards that are actually good. Then you've also got the new Exceptional Healing, which I think is very good in specifically Weapon X, because you have so many healing factor models, it's going to be useful sometime. And so on top of all of that, and the faction tends to be really like aggressive in placement, they want to move forward. Like, unless you get one of those really centralized ones, I just don't see it really mattering. And if you're running like X-23 and Logan or Apex, and then it's like, oh, my shooter in the back has cover, it's like, I don't care, I'm trying to kill Logan. Like, I don't know.
I think Deadpool,
I accept
Domino,
your critique.
or Maverick could all stand in the center point with this, and it would be a bitch, because they can just stand there and do things. All those models would love to have cover. Maverick's probably the worst one, but Domino with cover is just a bitch because she's getting skulls, critting, and covering. She's could live way too long. Okay. Speaking of Weapon X, let's talk about Weapon X, because he's in Weapon X. First character
Really?
who is also the name of the affiliation, I think.
Are we
right?
sure he's in Weapon X?
There is a non-zero chance he's not in Weapon
confirmed.
X.
Okay,
But-
non-zero. I'll give you non-zero.
But I will hard.
Are you looking at the
believe.
card?
Yeah, Weapon X.
Is this a Oh, I see. Because it's a picture from the keynote. His model's in front of the card. I'm like, did they just print 2 copies of him on the card?
No,
It looked really weird.
I'm looking
And
at.
I realized it was the model.
Yeah, I'm looking at the picture from the panel display that they just made.
Yeah, and so I'm looking at MCPDB, so it's cropped at the card, and so you can just see 2 of them stacked. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It's really weird. Okay.
So, the main thing that we learned today is that the front of his card and the back of his card have some pretty enormous differences and big implications for the character. So, I'm excited to find out what you guys think of the front, his front and back, and how very different they are. Aaron, I know you had something to say about it. I'm curious to know what you think about Weapon X.
I am whelmed.
Mm-hmm.
This is the definition of a glass cannon. Like 8-die
Yeah.
Pierce builders. Holy shit. Yeah, that's the thing. It turns out he might be the weakest 3-threat in the game. And I say that including Hawkeye.
You mean defensively?
Yes, defensively.
Okay. Well, if your opponent is rolling consistent dice, right? Because if your opponent ever shits out a dice, then he just healing factors 3s, and then it's as if your opponent never attacked, right?
Well, I mean, he's energy defense 1, 5 hit points, if he's on an objective.
Yes. Where do you...
Seems...
Oh, the
so
secure part.
Yeah, the front side Savage Protocols, if he's contesting, he adds 2 attack, loses a defense.
Right.
So basically it's like a mini obsession.
But he seems... I think you're right that he's a glass cannon, right? Because he cannot take a single punch or a single good activation. But if your opponent does not have a good activation, it has a middling one where they're only due...
Sure. No, sometimes you just don't get the dice, right?
Like, and so if you do... But doing 3 damage to a 3-cost character, you're like, okay, at least I did 3 damage. But this guy, it means literally nothing.
I mean, if you just break it down, like, I understand Aaron gets good dice, but if you just roll 10 dice, there's like a 40% chance you just fail to get 5 hits. And so, like, even if you try really hard to kill somebody, you can easily fail.
Yep.
So
I think he's very good.
I mean, I would initially play him with either in just Weapon X by himself, or you could combo him with Wong or Professor X to give him a turn 1 charge. And if he's able to turn 1 charge onto a midline secure, rolling 8 dice, and if you have Prio, doing it twice the next turn almost guarantees you, quote unquote, guarantees days and characters. It's a shit ton of dice.
I was viewing him in Inhumans with Lockjaw.
Yep.
Because you can jump him forward, you can give him the extra power, and then it gives them something to focus on while he's just chunking their team.
I actually... I even like him if you're trying to do damage with First Avenger, Steve, because he's got a bunch of amazing wild effects on his Pierce. Pierce on a basic with Steve feels great, right? Because you're going to...
You're talking about Steve 3?
Yeah, Steve 3, First Avenger.
Does he let him charge somehow?
Nope,
No.
he doesn't let him charge.
Okay.
So I'm lowering tempo, but gaining consistency using some of the dice over the course of the game. So it's not a high tempo play; it's more of a consistency.
I think if you just do the math on he's getting 7 dice, the Pierce will kind of take care of itself.
See, I'm worried about delivering. Like, I think if you don't have a way to deliver him efficiently, clearly your opponent should prioritize just wiping off the board.
Right.
Yeah, you definitely have to like jump the gap and get in there as like with like a priority kind of maneuver. Or go last, right? Like get in there late.
Yep. Speaking of wiping off the board, how about aimless aggression? What a fun thing! It is fun. It's not. I don't think it's good at all, but it is fun.
It's just 5 dice Counter Strike.
But it's 5 dice AOE Counter Strike, which is
well, this is gonna be great because they're just gonna like, oh, you have 1 hit point. I'm gonna throw you into your buddies.
Like,
no.
No. It's not Counter Strike. Read it again.
So roll 5 dice for each crit in a wild, deals 1 damage to yes to everybody though.
Yeah. Everybody.
It's right. It's Counter Strike AOE 2.
Well, not enemies. It's your allies too.
I know.
Yeah.
And adorably, he has adamantium skeleton. So not only if you throw his size 2 into them, they're taking
collide
3
for
dice.
4, and then also 5 dice Counter Strike into your group.
Yeah,
that's going to be like it's just going to be people are going to be waiting to do it, right? It's like I'm going to shoot you a bullseye twice and then throw you like fuck off.
But AOE 2, his basic is an AOE 2 with Pierce.
On
that's
the
fun.
side? Yeah,
that's fun.
Now you're totally wanting to, have him flip with Prio.
Yeah, he seems like a blast. I think he's like pure. Well, I mean, they wanted to be just like mindless aggression, and that's what he is, right?
Well, I think it's actually going to be once he flips, the plan is ignore him, right? Because he loses the extra die on the builder he loses the 2 extra dice on the passive.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And so he's just straight up. I mean, it's an AoE 2. You have to be mindful of that, but
It's just 5 dice. Yes, that's fair.
yeah, it's like the opposite of original Wolverine, where original Wolverine is all the extra dice on the back. This guy's all the extra dice on the front, and he's AoE on the back. Mm-hmm. And he explodes when you kill him, which is not ideal.
No.
I think he's very good, but obviously situational. I don't think he's insane, but this is I think pushing the bounds of what a 3 should probably be. Like I would have much rather seen him have a little bit more like survivability maybe, and then make him a 4-pointer, because like it just seems like we have a lot of 3-pointers just punching way above their weight class.
I had a question. Is he better than X-23? Different than X-23? I feel like they're very similar
now. I think because originally X-23's big thing was she could potentially do 3 attacks, and also she had the healing factor 2 with exceptional backup. Now that there's no exceptional, I think healing factor 3 is actually pretty relevant.
She's still so consistent, right? With a reroll and a pierce and 5 dice and multiple attack. Like she's so consistent.
And she's got range 3.
She also has a range 3. He has a charge.
Yeah. Well, but also no matter the cost is gone, so you have to actually work to get the free claw rush on turn 1.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, I had one thought when I saw it.
Relevant nerfs.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry, I talked over you.
Good.
That was my first thought when I saw him. I was like, do you play him and X-23 or instead of X-23? If you're ever planned on dropping X-23 into a list because you wanted her, really a consistent, efficient kill at 3 points, is he just better at that exactly? I don't know.
I think the worst thing printed on this guy's card is 100% the thing right below Weapon X. Because if you could take him and Logan, I think Weapon X is legit. Like, Weapon X, X-23, Logan, Apex, throw in Honey Badger for shits. It's like, that's scary. That's 16 points 5 wide? Like, that can table some people.
Alas.
I wish it would have been 4 points and had a little bit more.
Throw in Nebula for 18 points. Ugh.
I'm fine with the 3-point shell.
I think it's cool to have a 3-point Wolverine. I think this guy, I don't know. I haven't seen it on the table. He might not be any good at all, but he just makes me nervous. He's like the guy standing in the corner with a hand grenade. You're like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, stop it. Just relax.
Is this one of those characters that kind of has taunt? Because you as an opponent, you as a player, them as the opponent, are going to want to kill this guy so bad, your other stuff might go unnoticed. That's how I always feel about Bucky. Bucky 1 has, he has taunt, because everybody feels like they have to kill him, and so they will go to such lengths to get him. And is this guy kind of like that, where you feel he kind of has taunt?
I think it's the opposite. I think you have to really understand how he works to know when you need to attack him, when you definitely don't need to attack him. Because, like Aaron used to say, it's like, never attack a model with healing factor before they've activated. And you're saying about, like, what if you come up short? Like, this model will punish you really hard if you come up short.
If you come up one short on this model, you're going to wish you'd
all about
done
knowing
else.
The math. Yeah, it's like, I have to know, like, do you have a bodyguard? Do you have sacrifice? Do you have fallback? Do you have anything that I need to know about? And they're like, what is the exact math on me killing you? If I come up short on the first one, do I have a secondary plan to get out before you kill me back? Like, you're going to have to know how this guy works. It's not just take bullets into him and hope. All right, we ready for the card?
Oh, yeah. Like, he has cards, too.
Jeremy likes cards.
It's the only reason why he buys models, he just said.
I want more cards.
So it's another Weapon X card called Implanted Memories.
Oh,
and
God.
Jeremy, you are going to want to play this card so much, it's way over the top.
Okay. Give it to me.
Okay. So, when a Weapon X character suffers damage from any enemy effect, if the enemy character that caused the damage is within 3 of it, that Weapon X character can spend 2 power to play this card. Roll 4 dice, Jeremy. The enemy character suffers damage for every
Jeremy, you get to roll dice.
Crit, wild, or hit result.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a 4 dice counter strike that counts hits, Jeremy.
Yeah, it's just take the damage I roll. And it's basically the Sinister Trap.
Yeah, and guess
it's
what?
Electro's Counter-Strike.
For every skull in the result...
Oh, no, better, yeah.
Your Weapon X character suffers 1 damage and gains a power.
So I have
Jesus
a question.
Christ.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Because this says after suffering damage that interrupts the daze step, correct? Or no?
When does it? Wait, sorry. What's the trigger
It doesn't
again?
say after the effect resolves. It says when an allied character would suffer damage. Is when you play exceptional healing. Is the same trigger. Pretty
Yeah.
sure you can play this card.
Mhm.
If it doesn't say after the effect is resolved, yeah, you can play this while you're
Yeah.
being dazed or KO'd.
Yeah, so Weapon X can play this
TBD.
as he's dying
We don't.
and do it twice.
We don't know that he's part of the Weapon X affiliation.
That's
Right.
true. That is true.
The Sentinels may have not been part of the Sentinel affiliation. Weapon X might not be part of the Weapon X affiliation.
Pretty unlikely that Weapon X will be in Weapon X and be able to play Weapon X cards.
There is...
I love normally like maintaining the ruse that we think that's true, but this is pretty ridiculous.
I will say there is one character that I know of that could play this card, and it would be played. I don't know if it does anything, but it could be played, and it's Honey Badger. Honey Badger does die, and she's not going to do anything else, so maybe she'd do some damage back to your character. That's not good enough, but technically Honey Badger would make use of this card.
I don't
So-
understand why it costs 2 power and then might give you power back. That's just so weird.
Well, it has to do with the new world we live in, where skulls are a big
Yeah.
deal.
They're really important.
They're very important. We need to include.
I need
all
to
the
break out my
pips.
old red dice.
So I was super down on this card, but that was just based on a cursory reading. The fact that you can play it when you're dazed, I
Pretty
find that to be intriguing because all of a sudden, so I played a couple games in the Loki and if and New Thor, and if I'm on 1 health, I just can't attack anyone, right? And if
Mhm.
I'm on 3 health or less, I can't attack New Thor. What this card says is you can't attack any Weapon X model if you're on 3 health or less.
Can't wait till you put New Thor in Weapon X.
Just wait.
And you just shit yourself.
Since
Okay,
you
so-
can play it when you're dazed, you can auto clap back for an average of 2, possibly obviously 3 or 4. But for an average of 2 damage, yeah, that'll make a lot of people go, I'm not sure if I can afford to kill myself on your turn.
Can you
Or
imagine
it'll be...
if Immortal Hulk
Good.
just punched Weapon X and took 9 damage back? It's just like, what? It's an explosion.
Mm,
So, question. I have a rules question.
I don't understand why 9 damage comes from, but go ahead.
Well, it's because he also does his counter type thing, right?
when
Oh.
he dies.
His wild rage or whatever.
Oh, I guess that it could be a total of 5 dice. Sure, yes.
Yeah. All right. So, let me get back to my mental train of thought. I have a Weapon X. You attack it well within range 2. You cause, we'll say, 3 damage to him, which KOs the model. I then, in the damage step, play Implanted Memories,
Uh-huh.
and I roll 2 hits and 2 skulls. So obviously you're going to take 2 damage. Do I then gain 2 power before I die?
Yes.
Because the card doesn't say for
Uh-huh.
each damage suffered gain a power. You just get it.
For each.
Now, it says at the end of it is for each skull result,
Uh-huh.
the character that played this card suffers damage gains a power. It doesn't say and then gains a power or for each damage suffered gains a power. It just says gain a power for each. So I'm going to gain 2 power while actually suffering 0 damage because I can't mark the damage. So then who KO'd my model? Is it you or me? Because I tried to apply damage to a model with 0 hit points. I think it's still an enemy effect.
I would concur.
Because they, well, at least at the very minimum, they were also killed by an enemy effect, in addition to being killed by a friendly effect.
So I'm going to go out on a limb and say they need to errata this.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Like,
I mean, we've been talking about this card for like a minute and a half, and we're like, yeah, there's like 4 real timing issues
when
here.
well, there are no issues, but when they suffer damage,
Yeah.
like it's not
Would suffer
before damage. Like
It's-
the timing
it's
step is
preemptive.
before damage is dealt, right? And that's not what this
Oh,
is.
yeah. Hold on. Ally character suffers damage from any attack. Let me double check. I might be off base here. Let's double check.
It's not the same timing step as say fallback or some other before damage.
That's great. That's before it.
Um,
Oh, great. Exceptional healing's not in here anymore. Oh, it's
Blob has
exceptional.
would
That's why.
suffer.
That's what I'm checking. Okay, so exceptional healing also says would suffer. So this is a new... What else has the same wording? I'm trying to think of anything else in the game, has when it suffers damage. The fact that it doesn't specify when the effect triggers by their own precedent means it interrupts effects. Which
Again,
is why we had to go through the whole Green Goblin changing.
This needs to be errated. They should not have created a new timing step.
It definitely
unless
needs
we're
to
wrong.
say. It definitely needs to say after the effect is resolved.
In which case, this card's absolute dog shit.
Right. Anyway, I guess we'll wait and see on that one.
Okay.
Also, I'm curious when it checks, because I believe it's after damage is applied, it checks for dazing, which is why I think this card could probably be played before daze. And if that's true, it checks for dazing after all damage has been applied. Does it discriminate which damage could have been applied first or last? Would it still be dazed by an enemy effect if you took a damage from the card and 3 damage from them and that dazed you?
Logic says yes.
Yeah.
All I know is Jeremy's really excited to explore all these rules nuances in game.
I love it. It's very on brand because this card is supposed to be like, you're basically, been brainwashed and you have all these mental trauma, and that's what this card feels like.
Yeah.
If it's not on a tarot card, I just refuse to read it.
That's probably fair. I can't wait till Jeremy plays patch up into Maverick. It's going to be great.
What do you mean it's going to be great? He's not going to do anything. He's
great.
going to go,
He's going to be really
cool.
mad.
He's going to say,
it's
going to say
it's like
nothing.
the Kenny rule. It's the afterglow of the game when Jamie's like, "Did you know this fucking guy?" Like, yeah, I know.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anybody have any other news?
God, I hope not.
Yeah. Tell me about it. Okay. All right. Next up, we've got currently playing. So you guys went to NashCon over the weekend, Jeremy and Aaron.
Show enough.
Let's talk about some of the great amazingness that happened. Starting off with the Timeline Team Tournament. Did you guys play in that?
We did, in fact, play in that.
Looking for your guys' team. I don't see it. What did you name your team?
Living Large.
Ugh. Why aren't you Team Infamous? Did you guys wear your jerseys even?
I think we
I
were all in
did.
Infamous gear, yes.
Oh my god. Alright. How'd you guys do? What happened?
Hold on. We'll give you a round by round, blow by blow.
Well, I was going to say, first off, just give us a quick generalization of what you guys played, because it's timelines and teams. So you guys had shared collection, 3 rosters in timelines.
Yep.
What factions do you guys bring? Don't all go at once.
I was just waiting for Aaron.
Jeremy,
Go ahead,
what-
Aaron.
Okay.
Jeremy,
I played a mismatch of Brotherhood and Weapon X. Ryan played Cabal, Red Skull 3, and Jeremy brought Defenders. So that was the 3 rosters. We ended up playing into, see if we can do it really quick.
all right, so round 1, you guys played against the Just Scrollin' team?
Yeah, I was trying to pull it
just
up.
scrolling.
How'd that go?
So we ended up playing. I can talk about my games, and Jeremy can talk about his real quick. I put myself down first every time, just to be a sacrificial lamb, and they could decide who they wanted to throw into my Mystique / X-Force. And then we'd swap up Jeremy and Orion into what we thought were the better matchups. I got a foes player, a good player, playing under Goblin's leadership. No, sorry, it was Doc. He played under Doc too. I went 7 wide Brotherhood at 20. Parker, we know my metric on how well a game is based off of what? What do I
The number
use
of
to
tactics-
judge? Say what?
The number of tactics cards you played?
Nope. You're close.
Oh, okay. What's your metric or know how well a game went? And it's not tactics cards?
Nope.
If you, I don't know. I don't know what else you would use.
Brandon?
You would use.
I don't know.
Okay. How many attacks did I throw this game? That's the metric I use. The golden number is
What a
0.
fun, interesting game.
So in this game, I won 16-13. Guess how many attacks I threw, Parker?
I'm gonna say. Did you play? I'm gonna ask one question. Did you play Juggernaut?
I did not play Juggernaut. I went 7
Okay,
wide.
so
6
so-
threes and a 2.
If you didn't play Juggernaut, you didn't do 3 attacks because he probably does 1 attack a turn.
Domino, Deadpool, Mystique, Toad, Blob,
Yeah, my
and
guess
Pyro.
is 3.
None of them. Oh, Blob does push with his attacks. So I'm gonna
Blob,
say
Domino,
Blob.
Pyro, Deadpool. I mean, they all
I'll
can
say-
be aggressive.
I'll say Blob attacked 4 times, so 4 total.
Okay. Brandon, higher or lower?
I said 3.
3. The correct answer is 0.
Yeah.
Wow.
threw 0 attacks the entire game.
Isn't Marvel in such a great place?
I mean, I just like he's playing Doc Ock. Like, why would I ever attack him? Like, I'm just gonna steal all the shit. I didn't have Steelers either. I just picked them all up and ran around.
Imagine driving 8.5 hours to play in a tournament and then literally not interacting with your opponent once.
So there were significant amounts of interaction, right? I stuffed
Sure.
everyone without a. It was actually a really good game for 0 attacks being thrown, but everyone without an objective just ran to his points. So he had to start wailing on me and throwing me off, or we ended up like I went up by like 6-3 or something turn 1, just because I outnumbered him on the center. And he was dealing with me as well as he could, and he ended up keeping it really close. He just ended up not having enough bodies to outnumber me at the end of the game, right? So anyway, I had a really, really fun time running around and keeping him from scoring. Jeremy, you played Webbs in an unfortunate matchup. How'd that go?
Yeah, I got fucked. So I got to play essentially a no limits spider webs list that had exactly what you'd take anyway. 4 timelines, because it's all in timelines. It's fine. And
Did I get Black Cat? I thought Black Cat wasn't in.
I don't know. I don't remember because I lost on.
She
like,
is
turn
in
3.
timelines because she was in my roster.
Oh.
So yes.
Yeah.
Oh my
Black Cat,
God.
It was an absolute
Sleep at the
like
wheel.
raking. I lost
Yeah.
on 3, I think. It was classic. I did no damage into anything at any point, and I just lost on 3. It was pretty
Yeah.
bad. I was like, huh, I got windmill slammed in my first game. That's great. This game is fun. Moving on to round 2.
Let's see, it was even Montesi. Like that's pretty much the lowest scoring you're going to get on extracts.
Yep. Cosmic
All right.
Invasion fucked me more than anything I've ever been fucked by.
It says here it was Spider Portals. I
It
think
is
that's
Spider
what you mean.
Portals.
The place one, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
that's
the
just brutal,
spiders.
man.
It was
I
horrible.
fucking hate Spider Portals needs to be just removed from the fucking game. It's so bad. It's like the ultimate Kingmaker mission. It's like, who's going to roll more skulls? I guess you lose. All right. It looks like Ryan here, he played against a X-Men player who was playing Cyclops. They played at 19 threat. Ryan won 14-4. Good job, Ryan. They're doing Legacy Virus Gamma.
Ryan pulled it out for the team, and we ended up 1-0.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for
Okay.
me.
All right.
Moving on to round 2. Now I get notice the very first thing. There's one of their teammates playing Sentinels, and I was gonna bring Sentinels to NashCon until about 2 weeks ago, and I was like, "Woo!" Give him a big high five, throw myself down, and he immediately throws him into me because I noticed his Sentinels and gave him a high five. At which point I was like, "Shit! I cannot lose to Sentinels after I specifically shunned them for this event."
This team is named All Smash No Hulk.
Yep. You can guess
Right.
which one of the 3 teams had Smash. It was the Sentinel team. Yeah,
Is Smash still illegal because they only updated the standard timeline?
correct.
Okay.
All the rotated cards were still legal for timelines. Kind of
God
had to
damn it.
dig through my card collection to pull them back out.
All right. So yeah, you played their Sentinel player on Legacy Virus Extremis.
Yep, I opted
Any
for
fun anecdotes?
X-Force with Cable. He was just far too passive in picking up the points. I ended up with all 3 Legacy Virus. I used Cat and Mouse on Psylocke just to walk up to threaten a point. He was too scared, so then I just picked it up and walked back. So it was a nice safe grab, if you will, for X-Force. I did that in my next 2 games. Yeah, he was just too passive early and allowed me to score it out pretty easily.
Yeah. All right. So we got Ryan played against Defenders. They did not mark which leader they used. They played Scrolls, Infiltrate, and Spider Portals. And it looks like Ryan lost 8-18. All right. Jeremy, how was your round 2? Do you want me to remind you who you played? Or
I'm
you
looking
pulled
at
up
it.
already?
I played Steven.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, I played 2 Stevens in a row, I guess. How is that possible? What am I looking at here? Oh, I'm looking at the wrong thing.
Names aren't unique.
Yeah, whatever. It doesn't.
You
What?
did play against Steven, that's correct. You played against Spider Foes running Doc Ock.
I think this is the game where I got pummeled by Sandman. The first one hit me for about 8 damage. The first fist. The second fist hit me for at least... Each fist hit 2 times every time they rolled, right? So Two times. I got 2 damage, 2 damage, 2 damage, 2 damage, and then I died before Sandman even had to go.
Yeah.
It was another game that was just absolutely miserable.
You played Montesi Demons on this round. It's 2 rounds of Montesi in a row. Did you like Montesi?
I like Montesi, except when there's a model on the table that can push you 3 different times in different angles. Sandman just owned me like 100%. There was nothing I don't know what I was supposed to be doing.
Yeah, I haven't gotten to play against the new Spider Foes yet, and I expect it's going to be a shit show the first time I do.
It really is. They have a lot of new tools that they never had before, and Sandman is his own kind of nightmare. Now, the thing is I didn't go into him because I thought he had DR, and he doesn't. So that was my
he's
bad.
got healing factor.
Like I
and
probably
his health is a resource.
Yeah, it's
You
really
definitely got to punch that guy. All right, going into round 3, you guys are 1-1, and you play against the Scuttlebugs. Ryan was paired into looks like Brotherhood. I can't see what leader he was playing because Ryan doesn't know how to enter games. We've got Scrolls and Gamma. They played at 20, and Ryan lost 9-11. So that must have been a pretty grindy game.
I think this was a loss due to time. I think he had this game, but it was called before he could execute the win. Without taking words from his mouth. Say what?
They didn't use chess clocks?
This isn't an AMG sanctioned event, sir.
The con isn't. It's just the grand tournament.
Correct. They did not use chess clocks for anything.
Ugh.
So, friend of the cast. Friend is a strong word. Associate of the cast. Josh
I'll
from
be the
Muse.
judge of that. Okay, that's fine.
Tied his first 2 games in the tournament.
Ugh.
There were several ties going on throughout the tournament, and he had 2 of the first 2 rounds of this team tournament. He got ties.
What may I ask? What the tiebreakers were before they went to tie?
There are no
Was
tiebreakers.
it just victory points?
Yeah, it's just victory points. Period. Dot.
Victory points at end of turn, end of round, at the second time was called?
Depends. He called time. If you were in the middle of a round, you had 15 minutes to finish that round. If at the end of the 15 minutes you were not done with that round, it was a dice down immediate. So for Josh's first tie, the score was tied. He was literally reaching for his Toad to double move him to win. And as his hand reached for Toad, the dice down mark went off, and he tied instead of winning.
I'm so happy.
He needed
tied.
4 seconds.
Tied.
I would have been furious.
I'd been there, right? That was me at NashCon last year.
Oh my god.
So, yeah. Now, to his credit, I don't think he was pleased, but he was not furious.
Oh, Josh always takes things in stride. Josh is a good guy. It's just creating a problem for no reason. I don't know. It just bugs me.
Yeah.
All right. Well, good job, Ryan, for making that close. So let's go to Aaron. You seem to have played X-Force into Defenders.
I did. I don't remember this game. I'm sorry, Nathan. My opponent.
DA? Who's DA?
Daredevil.
Daredevil. Why is he DA?
Dare? DA? Dare?
Not DD.
Not DD? Yeah. I don't know.
All right. Into the Daredevil. How did your game go?
I don't know.
You don't remember? Okay. We had Cube and Extremis. You managed to win 18-14. Good job.
Yay.
Jeremy, how was your round?
I had never seen the trick that Brian did before, and it is the kill both of your Sandman grunts to allow Claw to move up forward twice on turn 1. And
kill your own grunts?
Yeah. So if he moves away from them, they just die, right? So
Ooh, I didn't even think about that.
I had Claw on me
really cute.
and destroying my ass on 1.
He was in your base killing your dudes.
Yeah, it was, again, another miserable game. Yeah, that's the only thing I remember happening. And I have a bunch of energy attacks, and Claw loves it. So it was him
Claw's
dancing
dancing
in the shower. Like it didn't fucking I lost.
So what is the proc that actually causes the Sandman grunts to disappear?
If Sandman ends outside of 3 of his grunts, they die.
Yep.
And Claw's leadership says if a ally is KO'd, not by enemy effect. And so, really, I thought they said... I mean, I totally believe it works, but I thought it would say, like, remove them from play, not KO them.
The guy was pretty good about knowing his own rules. I can't imagine that he was wrong. Again, I walked into, this was another rake that I was like, wow, like this is something.
So Jeremy and avid listener Mo ended up sharing the podium for hardest strength of schedule on day one. So they got to commiserate with a beer afterwards.
Nice.
It was something.
He is correct. The Sandman grunts say KO, which is weird because if you kill the parent, they're just removed from play. And so that's definitely a miss.
I thought it was pretty silly, but I was like, whatever, it's Claw.
That's definitely how it works. That's just really unfortunate wording.
Yeah. And what was weird is I had just played against them, and I thought, man, those grunts are really good, and he's just killing them. Well, he sent a fucking a nightmare machine right on me on turn 1.
Yeah.
And I mean, I had stuff, but I didn't have any turn 1 shenanigans, really, aside from grabbing points. But yeah.
All right. Well, you guys took 10th out of 16. Congratulations. Obviously, 1 or 2 games go different. You can place pretty much anywhere in a 3-round tournament, especially with teams. Cool. All right. Moving into day 2, we've got the MCP NashCon Grand Tournament. 55 participants.
That sounds
what did you guys bring?
Something.
I brought Master of the World with Zemo and Namor.
Zemor 3.
Hell yeah.
I had Defenders. I brought Thanos, Hulk, Hulk, and Defenders, essentially. So, and I had a Sabretooth.
Oh, she brought Big Boys Defenders.
Yeah, I got pissed off, essentially, after day 1. And I was like,
just swinging sledgehammers at people.
I'm going back to what I know. So I did.
Alrighty. So let's do some round 1.
Aaron, you did have some secret sauce in there that everybody rose an eyebrow at your secret sauce. Are you going to hold on to that till you get to use it?
Sure, we'll hold on to my secret sauce.
Let's talk about your first round, Aaron. Was it difficult?
It was disappointing.
How did you feel you did in that environment?
The best I could have, given the circumstances. Okay. It was challenging, but I pulled through.
I mean, you can only achieve what is achievable, and in a bye, that's 14 victory points. So let's see where's Jeremy. I gotta find Jeremy on this list. Mr. Constance, you played against X-Force with Cable on Montesi yet again with Intrusions. Man, you should probably shuffle your deck. I don't know. Yeah, how did you play Montesi 3 out of 6
I don't know.
God damn.
So this game it was Cable. I kind of remember it.
Yes.
15 points, is that right?
Benjamin, on Montesi and Intrusions. You played 18 points.
Oh, 18, huh? I know I used... I remember this game now. Okay. So Sabretooth killed everybody. He hopped through Intrusions and just absolutely slaughtered everyone on the board. My opponent, unfortunately, kept trying to jump through portals and failed about every single time. And I was like, I am so sorry. Like, it was bad enough where I'm like apologizing for his bad dice.
Yeah. Usually the portals are only bad to a degree where you just end up having to spend more power than your opponent. It's usually not so bad that you just fail. And those games are really rough.
Yeah, he was failing 2-3 times in a row. So I ended up taking that game.
Yep, 16-10. Good job.
Yay.
All right, we got some round 2 action. Jeremy, in round 2, you played against Inhumans and Imagine with Black Bolt. Research Station, Mayor Fisk at 15.
So this was the game where I saw what he had in his list. So he's got Black Bolt, he has Cosmic Ghost Rider, he's got a few other things. But I thought, okay, fuck it. I played 2 models. I played Immortal Hulk and I played Thanos.
Wait, what? Hold on. Let me look at this again. 15 threat. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
So he dropped Cosmic Ghost Rider, Black Bolt, and Medusa. So his list, his only real killable model that was easy to kill was Medusa. So I grabbed Medusa by the face and beat the shit out of her. He tried to do some things like, because I play that list, I knew what he was capable of, so I kept sending Black Bolt on a trip, like just sending him off. I'm like, portal out, portal out, portal out, punch him out, whatever. Kept making him leave. Very, very close game. We just went back and forth, back and forth. I ended up winning that. Later on the day, the anecdote is I forgot that Thanos could add dice to attacks. I never did it once.
Well, you never missed the full death decree because he was never injured, so you got that at least.
Whew.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's not like you paid for Master Swordsman 4 times in a row and didn't use the rerolls.
Yeah.
something like that. But yeah, that felt like going back into my element. I was like, okay, that felt right.
Nice.
Like I
That's
played
good.
those
You got
games before.
your wheels under you again. That's good. You ended up taking that one down 14-8.
Thanos v Inhumans is just such a bad matchup for Inhumans.
Versus the Inhumans, like all of them.
Yeah,
like,
it was all
none
Thanos
of them want to see Thanos. They just wrecks
Yeah.
him.
All right, Aaron.
I ended up into foes against Green Goblin.
Yep.
I brought a standard list. I don't remember the exact characters. They included, I'm
You
sure.
had spider-infected demons this time
Yeah.
around in 17.
I ended up taking the middle on a safe grab with Namor and pulling him to the back left spider, across from which Lizard was positioned, knowing that his plan, if I picked up the middle, was to dive mine. He dove it anyway. I had a Red Skull directly across from it, moved him forward to be in Namor's bubble now, went into a Red Skull. I then played I'm a Baron with Zemo to charge Lizard, and the combination of all of that resulted in not a dead Lizard. So,
Oof.
yeah, that was I think I left him on 1. So I left Lizard on 1. And otherwise, I think we're about parity. Maybe I was down. I think I was down 1 because he ended up with the 3 extracts to my 2.
Yeah, it looks like he just kept that parody going for a while.
Kinda. I opted on turn 2 to kill his Lizard. He opted to kill my Bullseye with Mysterio, and I think I'm in a great position because his Mysterio's in the center point, now has Bullseye's extract. I pour every other model into Mysterio and leave him on 1 on turn
Grand
2.
Illusion?
No. He didn't have the power for it. He had to pay for tricks and
I
traps
was
for
just
Bullseye.
curious.
Yeah, nope.
Well, I was just curious how, because if he just kills you, then he might have had the power.
Sure.
So.
No, he did some damage and tricks to trap me. Anyway, he
It
didn't
would
have the
also
power for
justify
it.
why he lived.
So I want to. Oh, I even had the power to double builder with Luke Cage, paying to ignore his. I did I forget 4 on the first one and 0 on the second. I did 1 on 5 and he blocked 1. Charge with Namor, tricks and traps. Was still in range. Every single model I had completely failed, just absolutely failed to kill him. And the reason I really wanted to go into him was because Grand Illusion. Because if I could kill him on 2 after he'd activated, I would retain Prio. I take him off the board on 3. He never gets to play the card. I'm up on attrition. The card's gone, etc.
Yeah, and even if you decide you have something better to do, playing Grand Illusion while injured is not the same, right? Because you can just kill him through it.
Sure. So
Harder
anyway,
without long range attacks.
Hard failing to kill. I made one horrible mistake. I think it was on this turn. I removed Red Skull up to range 3 of Mysterio and threw a building at him. What's the problem with that?
He blocks with 5.
No, you don't
say it
throw
again.
range 3. You throw medium.
Oh,
So this was just, huh?
Aaron, wait, hold on.
Yeah.
You tried to throw the range 3 tool?
I just
Did you at least
stopped
hit him with
at
it?
range 3, threw a building
Oh,
at him, and
God.
he was like, "Isn't your throw medium?" I was like, "Yep. Guess I don't need that power."
God.
Yeah. So I fucked the dog hard on that one, and that's just familiarity with the list and recency in gaming, right?
Yeah. It's just, playing 2 games in a row is really taxing mentally. So,
Well, I didn't get to play 1.
I know. That's what I'm saying. This
Yeah.
is your second game in a row.
Yeah. First game in a
Okay.
row, but shaking off all the rust. So that was
Oh, yeah,
one
this is
huge.
round 2.
He didn't even get to
failure.
play the first round.
You're just rusty. See, this is usually shit I do round 1 is I'm never awake because I normally get up at 11 a.m. And so it's just I'm the tournament starting at 8. I'm a zombie because it's normal people getting up at fucking 1 in the morning.
Yep. Turn 3 was
All right.
fine. I killed his Mysterio, whatnot, but I had to give him Prio. And on turn 4, he plays Grand Illusion and just murders 3 of my guys to start turn 4, and he just walks away with it at that point. So really, it
Yeah,
was
yeah.
leaving 2 people on one that should not have lived, and me fucking up the throw. Other than that, I felt really really happy with how I played the game, and he obviously played it really well to get the dub.
All right, so he took it down 20-12. That takes us to round 3. Jeremy, you played against Doc Ock Spider Foes again. This time on Researcher and Madman at 18 points.
So this is the first time of
Whoa.
the Defenders build where I had to play fair Defenders. I was like, okay, fine. I'm going to have to pull out Shang-Chi. I've never played that model ever. I played,
He's pretty easy to pick up first time.
Yeah.
He's got 7,000
Simple.
things going on.
9,000 words.
Yeah.
Fist of 9,000 words.
Ooh, yeah. So I had that model. I think I had Namor and stuff. It didn't really matter. I went kind of sort of wide, I think. The main thing in this game was, I think it was turn probably 3 or 4, maybe 4. I just straight up cheated. And so what happened was Shang-Chi got damaged. I took 3. I took damage down to whatever. I ended up taking 5 damage. Took 3 damage and 2 damage. Took 5. I moved over Zemo. I patched him up. I activated. I did stuff. The turn ended. Points were scored. He looked at me and he said, "You patched him up for how much?" And I said, "I had 3. He's like, "Well, he has 2. And I said, "Fuck, he only has 5 on the front." I thought he had 6. So
I thought he had 6 too.
yeah, no, has 5. So we looked at it and I said, "I tell you what, man, I will just flip his card over." I had no power on him because I had done shit. So I flipped his card over. I said, "I'm not even going to put, if we can just fix this right now, I won't even put patch up back in. I will have used it. We'll just move on from this state." He was like, "Cool, we'll do that." Which was absolutely brutal because
Yeah.
Zemo didn't have any power at that point because I used it all for patch up. A model was dazed that I didn't expect to have dazed at the time. Anyway, put me in a really bad spot. We played back and forth for a bit, but he ended up taking it down. I had a really good chance of winning that game had I not been an idiot. And we talked about it, laughed about it. The guy was super cool, hadn't been playing that long. And he ended up getting Infamous shirt from me because it was my favorite game thus far of the tournaments. That was
Very
Eddie
cool.
Diaz. Cool guy.
I'm glad you guys were able to figure that out. It's always a rough spot when you get into shit like activations prior, bad stuff happened.
Oh, yeah, it was 3 or 4 models back. Like, things had activated.
Yeah.
We had done shit. Lots had happened. But, yeah, I tried to just fix it and move on, and it just was what it was.
Alrighty. Aaron, you played against Asgard with Loki, Prince of Lies on Hammers and Demons at 18 threat.
Yep, we did.
Did you have fun with his lying?
There was lots of lying going on in this game. The first lying was Valkyrie thinking she could live against Thanos, because I brought Thanos to an Asgard fight. I picked up the left hammer with Zemo. He moved Valkyrie there. I promptly Space Stone picked up a hammer, moved and one-shot Valkyrie. Like, yeah, we're gonna say hi to my little friend. And then the rest of turn 1 was positioning. He picks up hammers, whatever. Turn 2, he has Prio. He says, "I have a strategy and I'm not afraid to use it. I am going to use this Rainbow Bridge to deploy all of my hammer-wielding Asgardians right up your ass."
That doesn't work.
What? Why doesn't that work?
They can't place if they have hammers.
Oh. So
Only
you know
characters without
that.
objectives.
Parker, did you know that?
Yes.
Okay, I knew that. Guess who didn't know that?
You're the guy with Rainbow Bridge?
Yes, he was playing
Well, I mean,
the
to be fair, I believe...
year and a half long
Yeah.
errata Rainbow Bridge.
Oh,
yeah, because
that's
the
card he had.
physical card doesn't say it. It was an errata.
Correct.
Yeah. That's an easy mistake.
Yeah. So I opted to let him drop all of the objectives. Like we retconned. He's like, what if I just pretend like I never picked them up? Don't get victory points turn 1. Got his power back that he would have spent for picking them up, and start turn 2 anew. And I said, no problem.
I mean, I see that he probably wanted to do that because he was trying to do his fun strategy thing, but that is not a good plan.
Well, I said, no problem with me. So I let him.
I also would have said no problem with me because it put me in a very strong position.
Well, kind of. Like, he clearly did not give two shits about the extracts. He's like, we're just going to murder your team.
Yeah.
So yeah, he Rainbow Bridged Valkyrie away and the other three models all towards me. He then played Brothers in Arms with Bill and Thor 2, which gives them both 3 extra dice on energy attacks. And then Thor 2 says, welcome to my 10 dice energy attacks.
Yeah.
Ideally looking to like daze 2 people, get enough power to throw a size 4 terrain, and then leap into someone. Like, it's a shit ton of damage.
Mm-hmm.
I, however, had Thanos. So Thanos took the first one on the chin, did about half his health. Then I sacked the second one. He ended up, I think, only killing Mystique off that turn. And Thanos dazed him back. And then the next turn, I was able to just, having survived his super hammer punch, murder his models with Thanos and Zemo. Of note, Thor 2's I Say Nay to Thee, roll 7 dice, and for crits and wilds, you take a damage. He did that twice into me. Parker, how many crits and wilds did he get in his 2 7-dice rolls? So 14 dice total.
With total, I'm going to say 8. You'd be real high.
Okay.
0.
7.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just like one-shotting characters if I end up attacking him. That was Thanos, so I only took 5 of it. But this was the game where Venomize won it for me. My Thanos is on 1 health. I Venomize. I do 6 damage. I now have only 1 damage taken instead of only 1 health remaining. It just broke the back of the game wide open.
All right. Well, we're going to have to go a lot faster if we're going to get through all these battle reports. So, next up is... Let's see, we did Jeremy first, right? So we're on round 4. Jeremy, you played against Avengers.
Yep.
He did not input his leader. On Montesi and Sword Base at 15.
Yep, I'm a professional Montesi player.
Yeah.
So I grabbed Zemo and Daredevil, and then I just ran circles on Montesi. I don't remember what else I took, but that's what won me the game. I was just like, I just kept zipping around Sword Base and pushing models and whatnot. So I ended up winning that game.
Nice. All right, Aaron, you played against X-Force with Cable on Legacy Virus Intrusions at 19.
Yep. So down and dirty, my opponent went to the midline with Cable late in the first round, but I was able to get some chip damage onto him. I was playing a model short than he was. So like I was 5 white, he was 7 white or 6, and I had Prio. What that let me do is kill a model and not give him Prio back. I chose Cable. So I dazed him turn 2, and then I KO'd him turn 3 off the board with Dark Rain and Ultron. And once Cable gets only 1 attack on his second action of round 1, and that's it, you're probably not going to win that game, and he didn't.
Yeah.
Was that Ultron 2 you were doing?
Yes, I opted for Ultron 2 instead of Namor for affiliation concerns at the point threat. So I only played with Zemo and Ultron 2 that game. Ultron 2 printed money. He was great.
All right. Moving into round 5. Final round before cuts. Let's see.
So
Jeremy,
I ended up playing...
You played against Asgard with Loki and Legacy Virus Demons at 17.
Yep. I'll give a shout out for House Party Protocol. This is Will, for those that listen to that. He brought a list that was basically a bucket of nightmarish hell. I hadn't played against, I think, any of those models except Bill. He played new Thor, new Loki, Bill, and I believe it was Bullseye. I think that's what the point 17 equals. I don't remember what I played, honestly. I remember I crashed headfirst into a center holding pile, and that pile shredded me with just damage of spike. Like, if you charge into Thor, he throws dice at you. If you roll skulls, whatever. Like, at the end of this game, I literally told him, I don't understand the point of this game. This game is stupid. It's things like this that make me just want to be done and sell all my shit. It really frustrated me to play against it. So just a little anecdote. I'm going to tell you this really quick. If I roll dice and you have Loki too, and then I pull my dice out and set them aside, if you ask me if there was any skulls in my tray, I'm going to punch you in your fucking face. It's not my job to take care of your shit. And that's exactly what that fucking list does, and it's horseshit. Moving on.
It's just the character, right? It's just him. Like,
no, it's
really
a rule in the game. It's horseshit.
Yeah. But I mean, it's just Loki.
You have to bring it up before you resolve the calculations, because once you tell people the number, they just pick up their dice, right? That's why, like, when you have recal in your list, you have to be very careful about how you talk to people while you're doing important rolls. You're like, well, this might be a recal attack. I need to verbalize to you that I need you to not pick up your dice. And if you're doing that on every attack your opponent makes for the entire game, not only is it tedious, but it's frustrating. And so,
I don't know.
That's a good point.
I got used to Loki's thing after one game. I was like, okay, I just got to make sure I tell him how many skulls I have. So
sure,
it's not how many skulls you have. What are you talking about? It's just one.
Unless you're attacking Loki.
Unless you're attacking Loki. Again, if you're staring at my tray hoping that I'm going to help you beat me, and ask me some stupid ass thing after I waited for like 10 seconds, get out of here, man. Why are you taking joy in the fucking misery of this? This is so stupid.
It's pretty much how I feel when I play against webs. It's like, why don't you just come over here and we figure this out?
Whatever.
All right, Aaron, let's go to your game. Can't seem to find you on here. Are you sure you played in the 5th round?
I did.
Probably had a buy.
Are you sure? Because you didn't play all the rounds.
Yeah. Colin from Muse. I think 5 of the 6 of us who traveled were all 3-1 going into the last round. So
here you are.
It was inevitable that we were going to eat each other at some point.
You played against X-Men with Professor X on Hammers and Madman at 18 points.
He had Professor X with Immortal Hulk, which was interesting. The game came down to his Professor X missing a Madman pay-to-flip on turn 1, which therefore gave me a turn 1 points advantage. He chose to flow his centrally deployed I-Hulk to the side he was strongest on to like super kill those guys, which he did. But I had like a 2 points lead, and I flowed all the extracts to the other side. So for 4 turns, I had Zemo and Red Skull do nothing but pass on the right side of the board, his and mine. Mm-hmm. And my other 3 models and all 5 of his were fighting on the left. He was going to win that fight, but as he was winning it, I was still like somehow able to manage pay to flips. And so I ended up taking it down 17-9.
Yeah. Losing slowly is one of the best things you can do in miniatures gaming.
Yeah. If the game goes on long enough, he wins, right? Because he kills me and then he moves over. It just didn't go on long enough.
No, exactly. You just need your guys to lose slowly. Yeah. So you don't need them to win. You just need them to lose slowly. All right. Moving into final rounds, or into top cuts for day 3. Let's see here. Looks like Aaron made top cuts. Congrats, Aaron. Josh from Muse also made top cuts. Congrats to Josh. Let's see. So your first round top cuts, Aaron, you played against Crimson Dynamo Winterguard with Scrolls and Demons at 19.
Yep, we are just both playing Zamor shells. Like he's got that shell with Crimson Dynamo, which is obviously very good, and I've got it with Red Skull, also super good. There was one model I had not played at all yesterday, and I really wanted to bring her to the table. So, despite the fact that it was a horrible decision, I let She-Hulk out of her cage, and
the secret sauce.
She came to play. Yeah, it turns out that sauce is bad.
It expired. It expired a year ago.
Poor sauce.
There's just so much hate in the game right now that I don't know why anyone expects that they're aggressive in the thick of it 20 health models to do anything but die.
Yeah.
So knowing that, I played her very cat and mousey. Like double moved her to not in the middle of the table, turn 1. Bodyguarded effectively. It was a really interesting game. I was up on points and about even on attrition midway through. And then I left Namor on 1. Turns out you should not leave models on 1. Because what they do is a bunch of damage and stagger you back and run away.
Why did you choose to leave him on 1?
Yeah,
you should have decided to kill him.
It was an interesting choice. The game really came down to the penultimate turn. Ben activates Dynamo first, ports and beams Red Skull, and KOs me with 2 attacks. I don't think that's statistically likely, but it definitely happened.
3 energy defense, right?
He's got 3. 5 with 1 reroll because he had Zemo, and then I think I had 3 with the reroll for my Zemo.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether it should have happened, he absolutely took my like 10 power ready to kick ass Red Skull and made him dead.
Yeah, definitely. It's unlikely, but it's definitely in like the realm.
Yep. My objective popped off. She-Hulk was staggered. She walked to get it because at this point I just need to live with my extracts.
Yeah.
She failed.
She has 20 health.
She failed the scrolls roll. She got about 12 left.
Yeah, I know.
And his Namor is still on 1, like way in his back line. So he only has 3 models plus Namor to go. She fails the scroll roll, and she gets pushed, and he chooses to push her towards his team. I say, okay, thank you. I pay 2 power. I throw Dynamo off the point of his already activated Dynamo into Bucky to daze him, who had 1 health left. And the look on his face was pure aghastness.
Yeah.
And so I said, okay, Ben, why don't we pretend like you're not a fucking idiot and you push me to outside of range 2 of Dynamo?
Yeah.
So I picked up all of our models. He said, no. And I was like, I insist. I picked up all of our models and I retconned the turn about 10 seconds earlier. And I just pushed She-Hulk to outside of 2 of Dynamo. Therefore, I couldn't throw him off the point and into his team. And as a result, his Bucky, who should have been dead, did 9 damage to She-Hulk, was finished off by Red Guardian. And now I've given him the extracts. He's back to parity, and then he is able to work the attrition / objective lead the next turn to an 18-15 win. So if I don't retcon that game, I probably win, because I don't think he takes She-Hulk down. Or if he does, he's not able to get back to the center, and I can just probably score it out.
Yeah.
But I really did not want to win a game on just a bonehead move that my opponent knows.
Yeah.
Better.
Imagine like just walking up to somebody and trying to throw medium range 3. Like that would just be ridiculous, and them not letting you take it back.
Cray.
Good job. Congrats to Ben for advancing in the top 8, although it's not single LM, so you all kept playing.
Wait, what? Good job? No. No. I have to... Okay. So...
What?
He made a mistake.
You're saying bad job by Ben?
No. I'm just saying we're not closing this conversation because I want to know. So...
Oh, you want to talk about it more?
Yeah, I just want to talk about...
We're running out of time, so
okay, I'll try to make this short. So, Aaron, you saw that your opponent made a mistake. You showed him that how dangerous it was, like you played it out, and then you walked
they didn't
back.
show it, they just resolved it.
Okay, is that? I'm just trying to nutshell.
Yeah,
I walked it back.
Okay.
Yeah. At which point, my opponent had 2 choices. 1, he could accept where I'd walked the game state back to, or 2, call a judge and have me DQ'd for legally changing the game state.
Yeah,
that is correct. That is, in fact, what you did. So either way, he wins the game.
Yeah.
I mean, he still has to roll dice. Like, Bucky doesn't do 9 to She-Hulk on average, right? I mean, his dice definitely kind of spiked a little bit, but...
I don't know who Ben is, and I've never been in this situation before.
I understand that Parker's not going to be able to wrap his brain around this, because he would never do that for somebody.
No, it's not to do it for somebody. It's have somebody do this for me. Like, I don't... Like, my first thought was not... I could 100% seeing my friend Aaron going, no, you don't get to do that. We're going to play this game that's based upon this. But as the other player, I don't know if I would be willing to let you take it. Maybe if I really, really wanted to win the whole tournament and that was a really big goal for me, I would let you do it. But that's the only motivation I can think of. I made the mistake, right? I don't know. Like, I've made that mistake so many times in top 8 cuts and various situations where I go, oh, I made a bonehead move, so that's on me, I guess. It seems weird. But you wanted him to have it. I'm not saying you weren't. He's not at fault for you wanting him to have it, but...
So I want to win a game based off of the decisions that my opponent made and the dice rolled throughout the game. Mm-hmm. I don't want to win a game because of it's not really a gotcha, but a bonehead move, right?
Right. Like, for example, if the guy had, like, forgot he had a second action and ended his turn or something, I think pointing that out to them is like, this is just the way the game works. You're making a mental error, not a decision. You don't have proper information, right?
Sure.
It's like, you would obviously not choose to throw Crimson Dynamo into Kingpin, right? Because you just didn't realize that he was immune to the damage.
Right.
That's a decision you make. This was actually just a mistake, right? Like, the guy chose to move him there, knowing that you were not done with your activation. Like, that's a mistake. He chose to move him there. He wasn't like, oh, I didn't know She-Hulk could throw stuff. Like, he clearly knew that.
Right.
It was just
Nope.
a mental lapse.
Yes, it was a mental lapse. I did not want to win the game off of his one mental lapse all game.
Yeah.
And that was my choice, right?
I've seen lots of stuff like this happen in top table gaming. I would say it actually happens less in Marvel than than like War Machine did. Like this was a pretty common place to see like stuff like this get hand waved in like War Machine. It's like obviously you don't do that. Like that's stupid. It's like you don't cast your spell at the guy who has spell ward. That's stupid. Don't do that. Or you attack the guy with stealth.
Now
Like,
I'm not going to play for my opponent. Like if they make a decision I think is stupid, like whatever. I don't know what you're planning. You just do whatever you want. But like the look on his face when I said pay 2 throw, it was just like, fuck, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it was obvious at that point it was a mistake, not a I know what I'm doing. And so I was like, yeah, we're gonna rewind that for 10 seconds.
That's so strange. This is such a weird case because he moved his model, right? Like you didn't.
He moved my model. I was pushed when I picked up a scroll.
He resolved the effects.
Yeah.
Okay, so he pushed the model, but he didn't push it. He pushed it into like an object. Is that what happened? Like
because Parker loves gotchas.
Yeah,
like
he pushed my
them.
model toward his team. I ended up within 2 of Crimson Dynamo.
Right.
What he should have done was pushed me, knowing I had a throw on line, and pushed me to outside of range 2 of Crimson Dynamo, but still toward his team.
Man, I hard disagree with this whole situation. I get you being you, but man, that's just somebody throwing a game based upon a decision, right? Like I think that.
Well, which one of us is throwing the game? Like if I win because he makes that stupid call, he gets to beat himself up about it for the next day, week, month, whatever, about how this one he threw the game because he made one stupid error.
Yeah.
One of us is throwing the game.
I'll give my 2 cents real quick, and then
I'll just say
Parker
this.
Go.
We're all being hyperbolic by saying throw the game,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
It may not be the end of the game. It could, but it doesn't have to be, right? That one throw may have not been the whole game.
It's just you're probably playing quickly because especially you're using time turns. You're not sure how much time you have left.
Correct.
Like it's a weird situation. You're playing quickly. How many times have you been resolving the spider infected? Like, oh, they failed. I obviously want to get them as far away as possible. And then the next activation, you check range. You're like, I'm just now out of stealth. And you go, fuck. Like, why did I push him exactly there? Like, you're just in a hurry and weren't processing the information fully. So it's a mistake, but it was a decision. The way I see this is I think that's beyond the expectation of, like, I don't know, grace, I guess, whatever you want to call it. Like there's like the soft minutia of what is sportsmanship and what is too much. I think it's beyond the line of what you would expect somebody to do, but it's still within the realm of I would totally be fine somebody doing that. Like kind of like what happened with Jeremy earlier. It's like what Jeremy did to himself because he violated the rules was probably more than what the judge would have done. But because Jeremy felt like he was in the wrong, he overcompensated for it. And so, like, both of those are, like, you kind of went beyond what was acceptable in a good way, trying to make a situation better.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. It was very generous, right? It's very generous. I'm not disputing that.
I was at the final game of a War Machine Weekend qualifier, like, basically one of these, like, LVO qualifier. We're in the final match, and my opponent was about to clock out, and he needed to perform, like, a special action. And he didn't, it was, like, kind of like a throw in War Machine, or in MCP. But he didn't understand how to do it because his army didn't do throws. And so he's like, well, I need to throw this. And he's like, and he clearly wants to look it up, but he's got like 12 seconds on his clock. And he has enough time to resolve the effect, but he doesn't know what to do. Like, he doesn't know how to resolve it on his own. So he's trying to figure out how to ask for help, how to call a judge, how to pause his clock. Because in War Machine, you're not allowed to pause your clocks. And it was just like, and he just looks at me and he's like, I don't know what to do. And I just pause his clock like, we'll walk through this together, and then because there's only one dice roll left, and we'll just roll it at the end, and we'll see who wins. And he ended up beating me, and if I had just not paused his clock, I win the event. And so it's just like, it's what it is. It's like, because he's not making a decision right here. He's lost because he doesn't know the rule, and he just doesn't have the time to look it up. And so, like, I don't think that is, like, expected by anybody, but I think it's not crazy to do something like that.
Yeah, in the same game, I unplayed Brace 3 times. And by that I mean I played Brace. And then when after like 2 seconds, like, hold on, actually, let me think about it. And I was like, no, don't want to play Brace. And I would, It's just like sometimes you make a decision and you like they have to taste it for a second to feel if it's the right one. Like I'm going to charge or I'm going to activate this guy.
You get the buyer's remorse after 2 seconds. You're like, wait a second.
Well, I was just like, wait a second, that actually can't kill me. Never mind, not going to brace, right? So, not that that's
Alright,
kind of
well,
on the
we're
same
moving on.
level, but
Yeah, now that Parker is burned up like 10 minutes. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, no, they did do cuts, so this is final elimination.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
was it.
Aaron was eliminated.
what you going to do?
I don't know.
Play games, have fun. That's what you're gonna do.
We played lots of games, had lots of fun.
Yep. Congrats to Sooner for winning the event. Good job, buddy. He did win last year, didn't he?
Mhm.
Back-to-back champ. Boom.
Can we take a second to talk about like the breakdown of like affiliations of this tournament?
Sure.
I was really excited about it. It made me very happy. Made me heart happy.
What about this made you happy?
There was Avengers in the top cut. I think they're probably like focusing on a scenario play, but your hardcore scenario teams were not available in the top cut, and they also did not make a big appearance. It looked like a lot of people trying to kill stuff, except maybe some of the Avengers teams, which I'm not positive, because Avengers can be very aggressive or
Yeah.
very scenario oriented.
I mean, I
But-
definitely still view X-Men as a scenario team, but I don't know what people are playing with them. I don't see X-Men on the table a lot around here. It's just kind of nobody plays them in Kansas City.
What were you seeing, Aaron? It looks like a really aggressive
There's a lot of spider foes.
tournament.
I would agree with that. Yeah, there was not a lot of what you would consider Hellfire Wakanda webs. Your pure
Like
scenario
passive.
teams. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, there was a lot of hate.
What about you, Jeremy? Did you see? Was it a lot of aggression that you were playing against?
I mean, Namor is out, so there was a lot of that. And Namor is very killable, folks. Just fucking attack him and kill him. He is killable.
Yeah.
He does die, but he's everywhere. Like the addition to Namor, really like took things to the next level. Of okay, I can kill stuff now. I can kill stuff that has DR, and I can help my team with it. So and I've got a good picker upper for the middle. Like he shores up so many things. Like he was everywhere during the weekend, just everywhere.
I still have a big problem with Namor, but my problem with Namor is not that he can't die. Like, he obviously can. He's just not easy to kill. Like, he's still in, like, probably, the top 10 to 15% of the game for survivability, just because he's got a great base stat line. But it's just that it's the combination of the mobility plus the threat. Like, he could, like you talking about, he can get in there, he can steal objectives, he can, pick up objectives from the middle, and then mostly he can come from outside effective threat range and just, like, sideswipe somebody. And if you have prio, then he can just kill them on the next turn. And so he's really good about keeping himself safe through aggression in the same way that, like, Killmonger can be sometimes. But yeah, if you throw him in the middle, he's just going to fucking die.
I found that his dice are not that consistent.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't think I one-shot anything. I didn't kill anything with him.
I mean, you shouldn't be one-shotting stuff. It should take 2 attacks.
Well, one
rounding.
activation. One rounding.
Yeah, so you're not one-rounding people?
No, not at all.
You can, but it's definitely not an expectation you should have.
It's only 6 dice, right?
6 dice, 1 reroll.
Yeah. 6-1 reroll, ignores DR.
I mean, he has certain targets he likes to go into, right? Bill, Rhino, Lizard. But against a regular target, he's fine, right? Everything you said is correct.
Yeah. I played against him with Brotherhood, so I had the refraction up the whole game, so I had cover against him, which is actually pretty good, because it kind of curves his dice back down to the normal area. And he was still chunking people fairly hard, but he did have 2 rounds where he kind of shit the bed on dice. Anyway, so I was surprised to see so many Avengers. Spider Foes just got a bunch of new models. I think X-Force has been pretty popular of late. Asgard just got a bunch of new models. Defenders, again, everybody's running Namor, I would expect is the main increase there. But everybody else was pretty flat. I was surprised there wasn't more webs.
Wasn't more what?
Especially after more webs. I thought there'd be more webs.
Mhm.
I think Hellfire being lower is expected because they just got a small nerf.
I think
Electro
by and large
was a
people
thing,
played
by
Electra.
the way. Electro was a thing.
The fact that people didn't pick up on our Shadowlands Daredevil list surprised me.
One
No,
criminal blew me away. Actually, I was like,
that is kind of surprising.
usually you see
Well, I think
a fair amount because there's such a variety of lists out of criminals.
right, but the problem is, I think they correctly read that the meta was going to be full of medium fighty teams, which is actually what criminals are kind of bad against.
Yeah.
When you can push hard aggression into them,
Especially with Namor. Namor shits on Kingpin super hard.
Namor specifically, combined with also Asgard right now, is like the predator to the potato list, and so I think they're correct in moving out.
I also think most people just play what they liked, what they're familiar with. Like, I wouldn't read too much into a meta with the NashCon.
Yeah,
stats.
I think NashCon's definitely more of a, like, it's a good collection of, like, different metas, but I don't think people view it as, like, this super competitive tournament or anything.
I guess I just like seeing the variety. I also like seeing like more aggressive lists. It's not just let's just see how often we can be completely passive in our gameplay, which is something we really didn't like pre-mini extravaganza. And this was at least one of the first larger tournaments that we have evidence that at least that's not popular. It may still be good, but it's not maybe as popular.
Well, it's also pretty soon after a lot of the changes, but yeah. I think it's a really bad representation by TTS, like the disparity between factions in actual play, which is one of the reasons that some people don't like it so much, is because it tends to be very much just meta stuff, as where if you see here, you just go to an actual tournament, it's never as heavy as it usually shows in like TTS and online leagues in general. Yeah. Anyway, that's all I had for today. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about?
I just wanted to say one thing. Props to Captain Winterguard. I'm very, very, very happy that somebody just decides to do it. I think I really appreciate that Ben just like, you know what, I'm going to play Winterguard with Crimson Dynamo because I like Winterguard, like Crimson Dynamo. I'm going to play good models with them. And
I feel like you are just shitting all over Jeremy by saying that I'm so happy someone's playing Crimson Dynamo and Namor.
No, I think he specifically was playing Winterguard. Like he could have chosen to play Defenders.
I totally agree, but like just like it's like Jeremy's worst nightmares. He's like Crimson Dynamo in meta models.
I don't even think he was playing a snowflake list that much. I mean, it's fucking baller.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's always been a good leadership. Removing his incinerates, his staggers for free. Again, he played Namor Zemo. I don't know if he played every round, but that was his goal, right? It's Namor Zemo, Winterguard, add 2 more low-cost models, ship it. Yeah, I think it's a super solid list.
I just like seeing anybody champion a hard underdog. Sure. And also, I think there's always benefits to taking, 2 models in your list that people never see, and well, what does that do? The what does that do is such a huge, benefit. If you got somebody who can pilot it and competent and knows the list, you'll go to top cuts, and I just love seeing that. I love it when the lowest chosen affiliations get champions because it means that the meta is not so solved. You can still play things you want.
He didn't bring Ursa, so basically, fuck you, Ben.
You literally just didn't care about the game. Brought Dark Dimension. Fuck that guy, I guess.
Jeremy doesn't like
Dark Dimension.
You're
playing Black Order. What about the Black Order guy? Doesn't care.
The Black Order guy didn't go top cuts. I'm just saying.
Okay. Just shitting on him. I see.
No, I'm saying that there were lots of. I mean, there's only one Guardians player there, but Guardians has been on the top, right? I just like seeing.
I know. I'm just giving you shit.
Yeah.
On a side note, since we brought up Dark Dimension, have you seen that Nigel's talking about playing Weapon X in Dark Dimension to play Resurrection on him?
Yeah.
So you have to fucking kill his ass twice?
Yeah. It's hilarious. Thank you for that. There's a bunch of dumb stuff you can do.
That's all we have for today. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed the recap of NashCon. This has been Brandon.
And Parker.
And Jeremy.
And Aaron.
And you've just listened to The Gang Gets Nashville Hot.
So what are we going to call this thing?
I got it. Okay. Incredible, new, fantastic, astonishing, mighty, original, uncanny, sensational podcast.
I'm just gonna put down infamous.
And we did it.
Ugh,
Another perfect, impeccable, flawless episode done.
we so did it.
I know.
Congratulations.
We're so good. Like, we're probably the best ever podcasters, I would say.
Top my chart.
Especially Aaron. Yeah.
There's at least 3.4 better podcasts, but right off the top of my head, I can't think of it.
I can't think of any of them, but there's at least that many.
I'm certain. Wasn't sure if I'd be on tonight. I started taking a new medication
Baseball?
on Monday because I am old.
Oh.
And I take things. And Monday I woke up. I was like, hey, I don't feel so good. Puked. Went to work. Puked again. Got home. Puked another time.
Puked?
Yeah, and I knew that one of the side effects was nausea. I didn't realize exactly what that meant. I knew kind of what that meant.
Stomach evacuation.
Yeah. So then today I just stayed home from work. I was like, dude, I'm fucking dying. Like, if it's like this again, I'm going to have to go to the hospital or something. It chilled out, so I'm all right now. When that stuff's going on like that, it's one of those where they tell you, it'll be a day or two and you'll get over it, but you got to get through that. And I'm like, okay, what if my whole life is like this now? Like, just throwing up 3 times a day. That's fine. That's just what I do.
A lot of people make fun of how like the side effects are worse than the medication. Like
Yeah.
I'd rather just have the
Yeah.
disorder or whatever it is.
There's absolutely like a pro and con thing for all of those. Any
You have to
medication.
weigh it. Yeah.
Like there's no such thing as a medication because you're fundamentally changing your body chemistry, right? Like there's not.
Pretty
one
sure
that's
Viagra is all pro.
like, no. I've told you
That's-
I've told you the Viagra story, right?
No. Is it funny?
Oh my god, I haven't told you the Viagra story.
Oh, no. I haven't heard
Gangrene
this.
of the dick is definitely a thing.
Oh,
You
man,
should be very
okay.
cautious.
So I had a friend in
Sure,
high
your
school.
friend.
His
Oh,
name.
oh,
I'm
this
going to
is
go in.
the,
I'm going to go and you say his name because no one will know this person. His name is Justin.
I love how he took the moment to say, this is his real name.
This is his real name.
Because there was the air of disbelief if he
Yeah.
didn't say that. Like, well, he probably just gave him a
This
fake
is
name.
his
No,
real name. His
this
name
is
is
his real
Justin.
name. His social
And-
is...
Justin still has. I don't think I've never met a person in my entire life who has the same like ambient demeanor as Justin. He smiled all the time, ever, always. Like his eyes were in a perfect, like a permanent state of squintiness because he was smiling so much, and he was also just insanely positive. Like he was the character, Jim Carrey's character of Yes Man. Like he just said yes to everything. He just embraced everything. Everything he just said yes to, he just did it. You were instantly became his friend because he was such a positive, overwhelming person. I could see some people being turned off by it because it could be seeming genuine. That's how like overwhelmingly positive he was all the time. And so one day we're driving together in the car. This is in high school, and we're going off campus to do a college class we had together. And I said, so how was last night? Because I knew he hung out with his girlfriend. And he goes, ooh, it was not good. I go, what do you mean it was not good? He goes, so this is how he talks, by the way. He had this weird like cadence. He said, so I went over to my girlfriend's house, like you do, and she decided she wanted to have some hanky panky. And I'm like, okay, that sounds like fun. And he goes, oh yeah, except, I couldn't really, activate. And I go, okay. And she says, oh, I have something for that. So she runs into her parents' bathroom and grabs me some Viagra. And she gives me the entire bottle. And me being a novice at Viagra, I do not know how many to take. So I take 4. And I go, 4. And he goes, yes. And I say, and he looks and he goes, Parker.
That's like $30 in Viagra.
He goes, that was brutal. He's just like smiling like the whole time. And I go, what do you mean brutal? He goes, I had an erection for so long. And He said also, it was so painful. It was so incredibly hard that I could feel nothing except pain.
Oh my god.
There was no pleasure whatsoever. And he's like smiling, by the way, the whole time he's telling me this. And he goes, ooh, so bad. Just like, it's like, Justin, how long did you have a erection for? And he goes, let me do some math. 6 hours? I go, 6 hours.
Oh my
Justin, he's like, I was pretty sure I had passed the point they say in the commercials where you're just seeking medical help, but I decided not to tell anyone because I was too scared.
There's a reason you're supposed to tell people.
Yeah.
It's a very serious reason.
I know. I was like,
He's lucky.
So that's my Viagra. The only person I've ever known to take Viagra was my friend, and he was like 18 years old in high school. And
I know I've told Parker. Jeremy, did I tell you the reason if it lasts longer than 4 hours, you're supposed to go to a doctor?
I don't remember.
It has nothing to do with the medication and simply to do with biology. It's because while you're erect, there's zero blood circulation.
Mm-hmm.
And so your blood will start to go necrotic because it's not circulating with air. And so if you wait too long, your skin will start to die. And,
right.
That's bad.
Yeah. Apparently he recovered, but man.
It clearly takes longer than 4 hours. But that's the point at which you need to start seeking medical attention.
I almost wrecked my car. I was laughing so hard. I was just weeping all over the steering wheel as he was describing to me how painful it was to have an erection for that long.
Mm.
Oh. But that's the thing.
So,
he would say yes to everything,
weekend?
even over medicating his dick. It was perfect.
Did you ask how my weekend was?
Yeah. 3 out of 10.
No, we'll give it an 8 out of 10. We should save it for the real cast.
Nice. So I came straight home after work yesterday, and until 9 o'clock, I've been working on my printer.
Your 3D printer or your paper printer?
Yeah. No, I mean, they're all 3D printers. I only own printers of the 3-dimensional variety.
Oh, I didn't know if you had
broken
like a paper.
again.
I threw it out. It just stopped working last night. I think I hit some kind of clog, and then it didn't actually clear when I thought I had cleared it, and so then I ended up swapping the nozzle, which is usually where the clog is. Printed okay, like 1 or 2 prints, and then had to tear it apart again, replaced the entire hot end. That still didn't fix it. And then eventually tried everything I could possibly think of, just gave up, and I just downloaded a new slicing program and have started using that. And since I did that, it seems to be working.
Sounds like not a mechanical issue.
It was definitely a mechanical issue. I just don't know at what point, because this is the problem I always have with this fucking thing. It's not one problem, it's 3 problems that are, Voltroning into a different symptom. And so it has nothing to do with what's actually wrong. But I'm just getting like weird, side symptoms that are fake because things are interacting in a weird way. Mm-hmm. So it's a combination of a digital problem and a physical problem. And then, you fix one of them by overcompensating to, overdo to overcorrect the problem, and then just slowly gets worse, and you keep having the problem over and over again. But, knock on wood, right now it seems to be printing. I'm watching it through my program right now, and it seems to be okay. We'll see.
Cool. Good luck.
Yeah. No shit.
Don't fuck
you
it
have
up.
like 5 of those now, don't
I'm so excited. No, I only have the one plastic printer. I've got 4 resin printers. And
is it the plastic one that's jacked right now?
Yeah, the plastic. The resin ones almost never give me trouble. There's a problem with the 2 of the medium-sized resin printers I have because they're the same model, and they have a secret industry flaw that the company didn't tell anybody about. That the reason they're discontinuing the models because they don't know how to fix it, and I bought them right before they discontinued it. So. They're going to replace one of them. I'm fighting to get them to replace the second one for free. And so I'm going to get 2 new of the largest printer I have.
Would you say you have a brothel of printers at this point?
I describe it as a gaggle because it's at no point coordinated enough to be a brothel.
I think it's a brothel.
Horde.
I think you have a brothel
Murder.
now.
You can call it. I would love to introduce myself as the brothel meister. And so I don't know if that's allowed yet. I'm pretty excited. I have almost completed my new little project thing that I had most of it done last week, and so I was hoping to have it done already to bring up to the store tomorrow to show people, but instead I've had to fight with the damn thing all day. So hopefully, knock on wood, it will be done before I leave the house tomorrow.
Cool.
In interesting news, I found it interesting. We applied for a credit card for my son this evening.
Nice.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if he was going to have to get a secured credit card where they, took money and then, held that against the credit card until he showed.
Yeah, I had a secured card. It's my first card.
So anyway, you can't actually apply for your own one until you're 18. But, he's got a job, he's got lots of money. I'm like, you should stop using a debit card and actually get a credit card. So we did tonight. Been on my to-do list for, probably a year. I can cross it off my to-do list now. Anyway, clicked the button, went through, and came back approved. Unsecured credit card for $7,000. He's like, damn! I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Step one, don't ever fucking not pay that off, right?
Yeah.
But the reason I think it got approved as an unsecured line of credit was because I put my kids on my credit card when they were like 13 as additional users. So it shows up on his line of credit. So...
There's also a specific time period where you get like basically a give me from the credit bureau from the age of like 18 to 20. If you have no previous large credit accounts, you're almost auto approved for the first thing you apply for, unless you have noticeable negative credit. And so if you're not like defaulting on rent and stuff, you basically get auto approved for the first thing you apply for.
So we did like the pre-approval earlier when he was just a student, and it was like, you're probably not going to get approved for anything. I'm like, oh, okay, never mind.
Right, but that's just like testing the...
Sure, now he actually has a job, though, so he was able to put income in. Sure. And that also made a huge difference, so...
Oh, obviously, yeah. But like that's how a lot of people get their first car loan, is like you wouldn't actually get approved for it, but it's because you have no established credit that you get like a first car loan voucher almost. Yeah. And so I worked at the bank, and my cousin owns a dealership, and so we used to talk about that at family dinner and stuff. And so as long as you don't have noticeable bad credit and you have no established credit, you basically just get a hand wave auto approve. But me, I didn't believe in borrowing money for so long because of like my history and everything. So I just didn't ever have credit of any kind until I was 25. And I was like past the give me section, so I had to get a secured credit card.
Yep, there's nothing wrong
with that. And I worked for the bank. They wouldn't even give me a credit card. I was like, you jerks.
They knew better. They know you're kind.
Mm-hmm.
I got a Sears card. I think I was 18 or so. Whenever they came out with the first PlayStation, the PlayStation 1. And I was like, I really would like that. I don't have any money. I was dating a girl that told me about credit cards. And I was like, that's interesting. I think I should get that because I really want a PlayStation 1. I got a Sears card. Well, the Sears card is a rate of about 21%.
Yeah.
I put a PlayStation 1 on there, and I don't know, after about a year, I think I owed like almost $2,000. So I had to get my stepdad to give me a cash loan to take care of that, and then I paid him back so I didn't get completely destroyed by a credit card that has 21% interest.
Just imagine buying a PS1 for $2,000.
Oh, it was horrible. Yeah, absolutely.
It's like $8 now.
Well, and
that's
also,
what they all are right now. So,
also, like,
when
you're young, it's like, why not add one more thing, right? I'm at Sears.
Yeah.
I'll just get this to add on to it as well.
Might as well get the memory card, second controller, 3 games, like, your gaming chair, like, just buy everything. Like,
and some pants.
On the card. Yeah, got some pants.
Basically, anything that was at Sears became available. And then, like I said, with the high interest rate, as soon as I got about $2,000, I was like, okay, whoa. That freaked me the fuck out, and my family bailed me out, thank God.
Yeah. There's a GI Bill when I worked for the bank, and it was the worst thing ever when these people would call in because there's nothing I could do. But they passed a law saying that any active service member could not be denied a car loan. It was not allowable to deny them. So they created this, you failed the normal loan. And it's 39% APR
Whew.
for a car loan.
Whew.
And it's just the worst. It just murders you. There's no way you'll ever pay it off. And they just take your car. Like, it's basically a 6-month lease that gives you a fucking repo on your history, is all it is. Because they don't even get to drive it. Like, they get their huge bonuses for signing up. They hear that they can get a car loan because the recruiters tell them. So they go to the dealership, and it was everyone I ever saw was a Mustang. Like, because they just, like, I got to go buy my Mustang now. And so they go in, and they don't even look at it. They just sign the paperwork, and they go home. They see their fucking car bill $600. Like, what the hell? Like, how am I supposed to pay this off? Like, I don't know. And we were not allowed to refinance. It was built into the loan. It was not refinanceable. And so there's just, the only thing you could do was just default on it. And it was the worst.
One of the first things.
Good.
I learned about car loans a long time ago as well, in the most horrible way I could. I bought a car. Yeah. I bought a brand new car, again, when I was like 22 or something. And I got a piece of shit Ford Aspire. That's the worst car I've ever even... It's awful. But the car cost, I think it was like less than $10,000 brand new cash.
Yeah.
And I was going to pay on it for like 5 years. And my payment was like $600 or something. And it didn't dawn on me until like 2 years into it. I'm like, okay, 55. Okay, this many months. I'm like, I'm going to pay $25,000 for this car.
I assume you misremembered one of the numbers, but that's $36,000.
It wasn't. My payment wasn't that much,
right?
But yeah, you know what I mean.
It's bad though, right?
I didn't understand APR. I just got out of high school. What does that mean? I don't know. It means what's my payment?
Jesus. Yeah.
So the first thing we did after we got the approved notification back, what was it? What do you think? The first thing we did?
You sat your kid down and you explained to them how credit cards work.
I mean, kinda. Put that shit on auto pay.
Oh yeah. I mean, auto pay's cool and all until he just keeps spending the $7,000.
Yeah, I mean, we had that discussion. So he has a lot of failings. He takes after me, maybe even worse than me in terms of being thrifty.
Yeah,
dude doesn't spend a fucking dime. So I'm really not worried about that.
That's
and
definitely,
if he fucks up his life, that's up to him. But
yeah, there's definitely like a mentality that goes along with spending. Like I remember seeing a study where like they take kids, they sit them down, and even at like 8 to 5 years old, like they can tell because you're like, all right, here's a piece of candy. If you wait 10 minutes, I'll give you 10 pieces of candy. But if you eat it now, you only get the one. And like that's like the test at 5 to 8 years old is, and if they wait, they will be a frugal person in life, like because they understand that at young enough age that it affects the way they learn. And if they don't, then you're almost at the point where it's too late and they'll just never learn it. Like some people just aren't that way.
Yeah, I don't get it. I've had credit card debt for 1 month. It was because my wife forgot. She signed up for a card. I was so mad. Yeah. I was livid. Came to fisticuffs in our living room.
Do I have any more good credit card stories? Oh, yeah. The next generation will never understand how stupid ATM cards were.
What do you mean?
Just like explaining to somebody that you would have a bank card and all it did was give you money out of the ATM.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because you didn't use those in stores, did you?
Yeah, because you couldn't. They wouldn't do anything.
That.
There was credit cards first came out, and I want to say the 80s. I can't remember when they first came out. It was before I was an adult. But then when I was like in my late teens is when ATM cards first came out. Debit cards obviously followed just a few years later. But the concept of having being directly attached to your real liquid capital was like crazy to people, so they didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
I told you guys about my credit card strategy earlier, right?
It's like Frozen or something, isn't it? Like you freeze things and like bury them.
No, I rotate credit cards every 24 months. Sometimes like every 6.
You close them or you just use different ones?
I close them and then open up new ones. So
I doubt it really matters for you specifically because it's not going to affect you. But closing a credit card actually dings your credit pretty hard.
It does. Fuck my credit score. Gives a shit.
But you just don't care, right? Well, it just might affect your future like interest rates and stuff. But obviously, you have a good enough credit history that's not really going to matter. Yeah.
No, so 1 September is the 24-month mark for my Southwest card. So I will cancel it here in the next couple of days, and then wait until 1 September or wait until October, and then reapply, and then get my 50,000 free miles again. And
Oh yeah,
then
because you get the bonuses.
United does the same thing. You have to wait 24 months between bonuses. So yeah, cancel a card, open a new one. Just keep it rotating. I used to have like 6 I would rotate between, but that was like canceling cards every 4 months, and that became a chore. So now I have like 3. I'm not min-maxing my rewards, but it's a little easier on my sanity. So
yeah, there was a while in the early to mid 2000s when every company had like the free balance transfer for 6 months, so you could transfer balances over. And so I know a couple people that just rotated their like $12K in credit card debt between 3 cards, and they never paid interest on it.
yeah, smart.
Yeah, finally, I'm a savvy consumer.
Some people pay 39% on a Sears card.
For their Mustang they get to drive on their 2 weeks of leave. Like, Jesus Christ. $150,000 Mustang.
Wait.
It's not even a 6-cylinder.
Listen, not everybody grew up without a mom who worked, 4 jobs, living in a duplex, taking care of 3 other kids that are your siblings.
Yeah.
A Sears card's looking real fucking good.
Oh, I remember when we got a Sears card, this day I got a Dreamcast, and we never went to that store again.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I remember we spent 6 hours in the Sears over on Metcalf, and my mom lied about her name and got them to approve a credit card in her like maiden name before she was married, and then they gave her like a crazy amount. We maxed that card out in the first hour she had it, and she just shredded it when we got home, and we moved.
Good Lord.
That was part of my class when I worked at the bank, is they have a whole class on like debtors, because there's like these people that will like live in a house with 6 people, and they just take turns. Like they'll declare bankruptcy in clockwise order, basically, and then the first person to get out from under the like can't be like no one will give you a loan, like takes out a bunch of credit cards and stuff, and then they'll just basically rotate who pays everything, and then they just keep like declaring bankruptcy after a certain amount of time. And so there's a whole class on like how to spot these tendencies and like refuse them.
I have another story in the things that piss you off category. Or life lessons you wish you knew earlier in life. So for all of our younger listeners, my daughter's getting ready to go to college next year. And she's probably going to go to University of Missouri, Columbia for biomedical engineering, which is great, right? But we've been doing our part. She's been taking a lot of dual credit classes with the local college, which is also a full university. She's got 7 classes that she took and we paid for. Turns out only 2, maybe 3 of them are going to qualify for the degree she's going to get at Mizzou.
Yeah.
Meaning we will have just completely fucking wasted money on 4 to 5 of those classes that we got for like probably 67% off of the normal tuition schedule. But Mizzou is one of those colleges that bills you no matter how many classes you take. So the only thing that money is going to get us is she's going to get a slightly relaxed schedule because she doesn't have to take 3 classes during her 4 years there.
Yeah, because you're basically paying now 160% of what the class would have just originally cost because you're taking the class twice effectively.
Well, she doesn't take it twice. Like,
No,
she'll
she
get a
But you're
comp
paying
twice.
for the class.
Oh, yeah. We
even though
paid for
she's not
7
taking
classes
it.
that she only gets to like move 2 of them over.
Right.
And
So you're
even when
paying
she
for
moves
the 5
them,
classes twice.
It doesn't save us a fucking penny.
Yeah.
So I'm really torn on the whole dual credit is good, dual credit is bad thing. It really depends on where you're going to go and what you're going to do.
Yeah. That's
Like, there is no good, bad answer, but fuck.
right. And that's the worst part of the whole system is everything is so convoluted and nuanced for each individual school, both like your high school and your partnership college and the college that your kid wants to go to. It's so nuanced. You have to have like and you can't trust anyone, right? Because one office will not know what the other office is doing. Fuck, one department in a university will not know what another university is doing. So you can even call a bursar at Mizzou and ask them, "Hey, I want my kid to graduate, with a Bachelor of Science, and what does that take?" And they'll say, this, and they actually don't know because they have information that's a little bit old or it's about to be changed from the state side. Like, there's so many things that happen. It's It's really bizarre. That is not a reason to do zero like concurrent enrollment stuff in high school. There is a reason to do it, but only do it if you know precisely what you're going to do. I was weird. I wasted $0. I went to KU as a sophomore. I already had 31 credit hours at KU when I started at KU when I was 19. And it was only because I had done so much research and my mom had done so much research to make sure that every credit we took. But I also had some weird classes. Like I took just Chem 1 and Chem 2, psychology, like some of the like weird classes. Like why didn't I take like Comp 1 or something like that? Well, it's because we found out that Comp 1 was like that. It just didn't transfer.
Doesn't transfer.
Yeah. So like I took a weird selection of classes, even though I had 31 credit hours. It's because we knew those classes would actually count.
Yep.
Yeah. Most kids don't know where they even want to go, let alone what they want to study until like their senior year anyway. So.
Yeah, and we had dual credit available starting as freshmen.
Yeah.
So like we just signed up for it all. We're like, here's our $250. Yeah, give us our credit. It gives us options, right? You can't ever go back when you're, at the end of the day and be like, man, I wish I'd taken that for dual credit.
I just think it's absolutely insane that we expect kids that are 6 years too young to drink to know exactly what they want to do when they're 40. Like, it's just absolutely ridiculous, like, as a concept. But
also,
I don't think we do,
her,
but go ahead.
Well, I mean, we offer this stuff for, like, you're talking about, like, she's doing the extended class. And it's great that she has a strong, like, want to do this stuff. It's just, like, I was one of those kids that had no idea, like, what I wanted to do.
Well, and she could get credit for, the class. So she could get credit for the classes. The problem is they won't apply to her degree.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I get it. I'm just saying in general. Like,
had she decided a different degree, then they would all transfer and she'd be great. She'd be going as a quasi sophomore, just kind of like Parker did.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's classes in high school also that are going to like feed into like learning particular areas of study and stuff. Like it's not just college, but also college.
Yeah. Anyway,
I wish all that stuff was much more transparent. But honestly, I don't know who to point the finger at because I don't know which high school counselor could be knowledgeable enough to do that. Even if you had done it for years and you knew so much, it changes so often.
There's no finger.
Yeah, there's no finger.
It's just it's a roll of the dice as far as I'm concerned.
Complicated system. All right, I have something I'd like to say.
Wow. I don't know if you can hear this, listeners, but I did an eye roll so hard. I think you could probably hear it
You're literally ruining our ASMR.
Oh, man.
With your stupid talk.
I'm happy to.
They come in for the not talking. All right, so you guys ready for Mojo?
I guess. I feel like this is a big do-over, so I'm going to throw some curveballs at you.
What do you mean it's a do-over?
Because I feel like all the answers for this one are ones we've already given, but I'm going to send you some curveballs, and I'm excited to do that.
Yeah, you should. Well, I think you should actually avoid movies that are simply car chases.
Yeah. Yes.
Anyway, to the point, we're doing car movies today. So these are not movies in which there is a car chase. This is just movies where the plot is centralized around cars for some reason.
Or cars are larger than they are in a normal movie.
What do you mean? Like they're just bigger?
The plot has to be centralized about a car?
Well, I mean, they have to be integral to the point of the movie.
Okay.
And so, like, I would say Fast and the Furious is a movie about people that, like, live their lives around cars, even though cars aren't directly responsible. Like, it's more about, this, the movie's about theft and Point Break and all that. But besides the stuff, like, I would accept that. This is a pretty loose category. Anything where it's like cars are the important part of the movie.
Okay. That's where I was going. Cars are
Yeah, they're important to the movie for some reason. Like, Knight Rider, the movie, would obviously qualify.
Okay, who's first?
First up, we have Parker.
I'm going to go with the one I have to say because it's my favorite car movie of all time, even though I think I've given this answer twice before for other reasons. I'm not ashamed to say Fast 5 again.
That was on my list.
I love that movie so much.
It's the best terrible car movie ever.
I think so.
It's the most bra movie of all time. Yeah. It's so great.
Family.
All right, we have Aaron.
Talladega Nights.
Strong.
Blind Squirrel.
Very strong. Jeremy.
I'm going to go with Elcamino.
I don't know how to spell Elcamino. You're going to have to tell me.
It's good. It's a good choice.
ELCAMINO. Camino.
It means the
El-
road in Spanish. It's also
Does it
Camino.
really?
Yeah.
I'll just do The Road.
The Road is also a movie, but there's no cars in that. There's no cars.
Directed
in that movie.
by Clint
It's-
Eastwood.
Just a road.
All right. My first movie, everyone should have seen already, Maximum Overdrive.
Mm.
You guys know that one?
Nope.
I do know that one. It's
Jeremy, you know
goofy.
it?
Like
It's a
It's-
Stephen
what do
King
you-
movie.
what?
I don't know.
it's
I
a
think it's a Stephen
campy
King
movie,
but
really fun.
it's super campy. Basically, anything with a motor comes to life. They don't know why, and it just tries to kill everybody. And so the people in the movie are trapped in a gas station throughout the movie, and they're like, all the trucks have come to life and are trying to kill them, and so they can't leave. And it's all about them like figuring out what's going on. It's like zombie movie, but the zombies are cars.
Emilio
It
Estevez.
it sounds so fucking stupid, but it's actually pretty good. All right. Next up, I'm gonna go with The Love Bug.
You piece of shit motherfucker.
Fuck you! Get on my level.
Oh,
You took Talladega Nights. It's only fair.
I'll trade you. Trade.
Ooh.
I didn't say it because I didn't think you fuckers even seen the goddamn movie.
I've seen The Love Bug probably 30 times. I understand you were 40 when it came out, but I was a wee lad. All right,
It came
Jeremy,
out in
you're
the
up.
fucking 1960s.
That's
You
what
were
I'm saying.
a wee
Like, that
lad.
makes sense. Yeah. Wee lad. It was re-released on VHS. Screwball.
Smokey and the Bandit.
Ooh, that's a strong one. Oh, that's so good. I'm
Burt
mad it wasn't
Reynolds?
even
Are
on
you
my
fucking
list.
kidding me? He was dreamy.
That's so good. Yeah. Damn it. I wish I had thought of that.
I
would
wish
pick
I had
over
that
Maximum Overdrive. God damn it. All right, Aaron, you're up.
The Transporter.
That's a really good one. See, I didn't look any of these up, so like these are great. All right, Parker, you got back to backs. And if you pick Fast 1 and 2, I'm gonna be pissed.
No, I'm not. I'm gonna pick one of my favorite, like, iconic cars from my childhood. Is the station wagon from Vacation,
Vacation.
the original Vacation.
You picked Vacation like 4 times too.
I don't think I've ever picked the original. I think I did Christmas.
You definitely picked the original Vacation.
I did
We're gonna
Las
move past it.
Vegas Vacation.
We're
I've done.
moving past it.
Yeah, no Vacation.
It's
My last one I have done before. It's my favorite car scene of all time comes from Dumb and Dumber. Man, I thought the Rockies would be a little rockier than this.
that's a moped, but yes.
No,
that's fair. I'll take that one. That's a bit of a weird one because the
Turned my
movie's not
van
really
into a
around a
dog.
car, but they did turn the van into a dog.
yeah, the mud cuts.
And they buy the Lamborghini, so
Yeah.
I'll give you that one.
Okay.
All right, Aaron, don't take my last one. I have one left on my list. Don't take it.
Probably not going to take it.
Good.
It's Cars.
Okay.
I know you did
Cars.
that one.
If we made a list without cars on it, somehow we'd get yelled at. I don't know why.
What makes
I love how-
it doesn't fucking matter. We could come up with the 12 best possible movies, and we would still get our shit reamed.
No, the best part about this, I love reading the comments afterwards because there's 3 categories of comments. 1, they're saying we should have named a movie that literally is not possible to name because it's not in the category. That's my favorite. Number 2 is when they choose a movie that's just fucking awful. They're like, why didn't you choose Blood Driven 7, The Reawakening? You're like, what the fuck is that? Like, nobody's seen that. Or the third one where they're like, you should have chosen this classic, legitimately justifiable movie. And I go, yep, none of us have seen that. Like, those are the best.
Like, I know
I
we're
was
gonna
like-
get 5 requests for Bullet, and I've never seen that
exactly.
movie.
And
I'm
none
not
of us
gonna-
have seen Bullet. We got the Bullet thing last time too. We
Yeah.
haven't seen Bullet.
Yeah.
Move past it. We're past it.
I interrupted you though, Aaron.
No, sorry.
We're good.
Jeremy, final pick.
Fury Road.
Ooh, that's a good one. But that was not mine.
It was on my list.
John Wick. We'll go with John Wick, which I can't believe made it to the final pick.
I wanted to say Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, but you know.
Hi.
Also, was it Land of the Dead would have been acceptable because they had the big monster truck thing.
Every time I hear Chitty
This is
Chitty
a-
Bang Bang, I think of the Ace Ventura 2, that famous
Oh, yeah.
scene where they're going through the jungle, and it's. Did you know that was entirely ad-libbed?
Well, yeah, because Jim Carrey is fucking psycho.
I love the concept. If you pay really close attention, you can see his co-star is trying desperately not to laugh as
Yeah.
they're like bouncing through the jungle, and he's going off with the entire Chitty Chitty Bang Bang song. He just knew it by
And
heart.
then later, when they're walking through the jungle, he keeps stepping on his ankle intentionally.
Yeah.
And he's like, flat tire. And he's like, this has been like the 30th time, bro. We walked 10 miles through the jungle. Please stop.
Flat tire. I forgot about that.
But the rhino birthing scene is probably still like top 10 all-time cinema.
Oh man,
so fucking crazy.
it's so difficult not to laugh in that.
It's just like the first time you see it, it's like you're just like, no, stop! What are you doing? Oh man! All right, that was a fun one. I like this. We got a pretty fun list here. All right, I think we're ready. Are you guys ready?
Oh lordy,
I'm ready.